We live? Is everything working? We are, and everything I think is working. I see my mic working. Let's make sure everyone else's mic is working. We'll start with Thomas.
Check. Oh.
Hello, this is a mic check and also an introduction. My name is Thomas, and I will be playing Sir Edrich of Winterbourne, Stoke, Marshal of Salisbury.
Awesome. And Mark.
Hello, I am Mark, aka the Cat's Meow, and today I will be playing a numerous of people, one including my main PC, Sir Florence of Idmiston, Lord of Axe, and the Baron.
Indeed. And then Liam.
Hi, everybody. I'm Liam. I'm fighting a creature right now. Get off of my stuff. I believe I am starting off with Sir Perin, and I will likely be playing Sir Virgil later on.
There we go. All right, let's dive in. Let's see what's happening. Tonight's gonna be an interesting one. We'll see what happens. I feel like this episode
Are Pendragon episodes interesting? I don't believe you.
Yeah, right. We'll see what goes down this time through. There's gonna be some vignette pieces to begin with.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah. Let us see here. Yeah, we're gonna stay with that music. Why not? Okay, we're going to start with a confirmation. We're going to zoom in on Florence here first. So Florence, what was your intention in Cornwall? Were you staying in Exeter yourself with the intention of retreating back to the Axe if Exeter should fall?
Yeah.
Right.
Essentially, yes. Or if they should hear word that they went to Caladar instead.
Okay. You are...
And I have my... Oh, God.
You are there. There's a scene with, like, essentially, like, central command, basically. Which is a few familiar faces. We, of course, have our new friend here. Hold on. Got the wrong map. What am I doing? Let me just pull open the new stuff. So we got Urban. Sir Urban, who's effectively a de facto Earl. I mean, some people might have something to say about that, but for right now, that's how he's being treated. We have Brassius as well. My computer will respond. I'll show you Brassius.
He better be there.
Yeah,
like 500 Libra
he vanished and took your money. Sorry, bud.
Yeah, that's the honor I'd expect from him.
Mm-hmm.
And his quote back
I'm
to
just
you
gonna say.
before he left, he said, "That's the life." And he left. So he was within range to hear that quote from Virgil. So
I was anti-Brastius day one, so
just want to say it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise. Brassius is here. I don't know where the hell I stored his token, but he is here too. And then you, Florence, it's kind of the big three. There are a couple of other figures that are present right now. There's Sir Cador. You remember him? He's also present, though he has opted to, with his own mercenary unit, harry the upcoming defenses. So he's just arriving back in Exeter now, after having done so.
All right.
So he's effectively the closest you have to anyone that might have engaged with the marching army. The army would have already started to fan out and siege and conquer and raid the westernmost side of the county. And we'll kind of zoom in at that point. Cador enters the room he has a bit of a blood stain on his shoulder. Clearly, he's been stabbed. But he looks, he doesn't need immediate medical attention, anyways.
He's walking it off. He just
Not quite, but yeah, a little worse than walking it off. But whatever. If he's here before getting treated, it's probably something of importance.
Mm-hmm.
Urban looks up and says, Cador, what is it? He says, I have bad news. It seems that their recruitment of mercenaries has brought mercenaries from Gaul as well. From what I gather, they outnumber us 3-1.
Well, that's not good to hear.
He looks to Brassius, right, who's probably the most familiar comrade he has, but then look to Florence, who's a familiar face, and Urban. He says, I would recommend an organized retreat. If you get stuck in Exeter, you'll have two choices. Bend the knee or be executed.
In that case, where would we retreat to? The axe is, of course, open for all. It's also not the most defensible of points.
Urban shakes his head and says, if we retreat from here, Cornwall's fallen. We won't be able to muster any additional forces. What we could gather from Gigant, we've already gathered. This has to be the last stand.
This is it then.
There seems to be disagreement with that, though. Like,
No.
there are others. Well, there are other knights in the room, and some of them are like, "Well, what if we divided up amongst our manors, made them come to us, fought them, made them spread out their forces." And then others are arguing for Exeter, saying that's madness. This place has walls. This place has, counter siege defenses, siege defenses.
Yeah.
Rather. Like we could,
And they'll just pick us off one by one. Yeah. I think with that, Florence would step forward and go. As I see it, if we divide up our forces to protect our own selves, they will destroy us all. At least here we have a defensible point. We have a chance.
Cador just nods to you. And he looks to Brassius again. Brassius shrugs. And Cador says, I wish you all the best. I mean that. With that, he turns to exit.
I think with that, Florence would look to Eben for a moment before he'd follow after Cador.
Okay.
Just have a quick conversation with him as he leaves.
Okay.
Cador. Sir Cador. May I have a quick moment of your time?
Of course. What is it, Florence?
What do you honestly think our chances are?
You know how important Orlo's dream was for me. So don't say this lightly when I say this will be your last stand, you say.
I see. Well, I appreciate your honesty. I take it then you might be moving on your way? I don't blame you if you are.
These truly are terrible times. Let's hope that the Collegium finally places their weight behind a king after this. Or, by default, it might become Idris.
Idris will not be king of Britain. I do not see such a thing ever happening. But he may just become king of Cornwall.
Take care of yourself, Sir Florence.
You as well, Sir Cador.
Alright?
That's
Florence
very
returns,
interesting.
probably to the squabbling masses of all the other knights.
We're going to cut scenes away from that. We're going to go up the map a bit to Salisbury.
Very interesting.
Edrich.
That's me.
You find yourself doing that thing that you really don't want to do. It comes with the position you have now. Paperwork.
I've got energetic 17. I can do paperwork forever, baby. I just can't read.
Captain America meme, I can do paperwork all day. Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay. So, here's the situation. There is a skill I want to give you here. I gotta grab it from the
Is it
book.
filing?
Almost. It's almost that bad.
I've been a king bureaucrat for 4 of my most favorite characters so far, so this will be the 5th.
That's fair. 140.
My favorite part of medieval adventures: bureaucracy.
Clerk is a skill.
Hey, man. You guys, I was one of the freaks that like resource management in the vampire game we were all part of.
Hell yes.
So
All right.
this
well,
is a
I will.
clerk is a knightly skill. To clerk is to write, read, do numbers, file records, fill out forms, and so on. Includes knowing proper forms of correspondence, courtly and diplomatic procedures, judicial forms, and accounting.
Beautiful.
Oh my god, you know how to read!
Don't bring that shit around me, man. Keep that shit away from me.
I will note, I've already got Clerk 2, so I'm not good at it, but I can do it.
Yeah. There is no Google Forms, Zach. I'm sorry. This is all by paper. But no, yeah, just put a tick in it. The scene will start with that.
Alrighty.
You hear the door open behind you. This is an office you hold now, formerly in Sarum, by the way. Right? Like you have your own castle now, I believe. Did we name Castellans yet?
We didn't on camera.
Do we want to announce them? Did we list decisions for who the Castellans are?
I don't think we made them official out of character, but we could certainly do it in character. Edrich has no problems with giving the promised lands to the people who he made deals with. Minus, of course, Erwin's request, which, while odd, seems like it's like it's sentimental in nature.
We'll go through that off camera, I think,
Yeah.
and just make sure we confirm it, and then I'd like to do a quick announcement of it because I think who the Castellans of Salisbury are pretty useful for this game ongoing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. All right.
Cough, cough.
It's true.
I hear coughing. There is one thing. On that list is absolutely not that one guy who stood there and did nothing while we argued. He doesn't deserve it.
The one that gave you his vote?
No, the steward, I think, of
Oh,
Salisbury.
you're not putting Rofus in the position of Castellanship?
Random
It's a bad
McRandom
idea.
face.
What a
No.
shame.
Rofus will remember that.
Yeah.
Among us, which of the two of us could kill the other in a sword fight? Me? Good.
Buddy, this is exactly the kind of thinking that
I
I'm
know,
all in
I
favor of, and also everybody's mad about.
Exactly. But
hey,
yes,
you got a problem? Why don't we duel about it? I won't duel you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
I'm not challenging
but
you
yeah.
to a duel. Just saying you could challenge me.
Yes. Edrich, his fingers slightly ink stained from writing a scrawling signature a bunch of times. He looks not at ease, but he certainly doesn't look like it's the worst thing that he's ever done. His back is still straight, his eyes are still bright, but there's definitely an energy to him, like a coiled spring, which, as the door opens, he puts down the inkwell, puts his hand over to somewhere else on the table where there is a knife, and then looks behind him.
You see the Countess.
With the same ease, he takes his hand away from the knife and goes, "Lady Ellen."
Sir Edrich, I have news from Cornwall.
Yes. What is it?
King Idris is invading. He's continued his invasion into Ascalon.
I knew it would happen. I didn't think it would be so soon, but things are moving quickly. Tell me, Lady Ellen, with the tribute paid to Wessex most recently, in your conversations with Kurdic, did he strike you as the kind of person who'd go back on the deal if he was sure of taking Salisbury?
It's a good question. Bob's gonna pause on that for a second. He's gonna look up something here.
How honorable is Kurdic?
Yeah. She says, I believe he takes great pride in being of royal blood and wishes to show this island that he is not as treacherous as perhaps some of his Saxon predecessors. She's, of course, referring to the Knight of the Long Knives, right? Where they're notoriously known. She says, should Cornwall advance successfully through Ascalon, that only leaves Gigant between our borders and Cornwall.
Yes.
And once they've reached there, I suspect we'll have yet another king asking for tribute.
To tell the truth, this is something that I've been thinking about, well, since Florence asked. And it's been something that I've been thinking about since, well, the announcement that we'd be paying tribute to two different Aethelings. I wonder if we could turn this to our advantage. If we won't be attacked on the side of the east, if we can trust them, if we can trust our neighbors, then we can at the very least deny or bolster our forces against the encroaching west. A muster against King Idris would be good. A formal declaration of war, no doubt. But with Cornwall as a buffer state,
There's
I'll put it. Oh, yes, you go.
some additional news.
Of course.
I have friends out in Huntland. If I understand the rumors correctly, they've begun to negotiate directly with the King of Essex. There's a rumor that they may even ally with them. Not tribute, but alliance.
Huntland? Surely they know that, at least as it is right now, that's certain death, unless they plan to get rid of Jaren.
Indeed. They say that Jaren went north. He went into the forest.
And he hasn't returned yet.
It's been a winter.
It seems everywhere we turn, matters are getting worse. Which, I pride myself on being a realist, but things are rapidly becoming even more dire than I suspect. Looking at it from a political view, what does it look like when you look at the map? Are we surrounded on all sides by enemies that would leave us alone? Or are they bolstering their forces and growing stronger, soon strong enough to roll over us, no matter how much we keep to ourselves?
Save for the trouble in the forest, I think Summerland is not any real threat. To our north directly, I think they would have more pressing matters of resolving their civil war in the Duchy of Glevum, and that seems to be pulling in the county of Gentian, sorry, I was forgetting the name. They seem to be pulling in the county of Gentian into that mix.
Should they grow powerful enough, they will try to reclaim Milkfield.
A minor
I feel...
100, though they do hold the Castle of Devices up there.
Indeed.
And
It's
to
at
our
this
east,
point that...
we have Silchester, though they now seem to take the command of a Saxon. That is the rumor, partially confirmed by the Duke himself.
Which is the worst of it. What happened to Britain? It matters not. I feel as long as we are doing nothing, we risk a death of 1,000 cuts. With every knight lost, with every 100 lost, waiting. We lose the trust of our people and the respect of our knights. But opportunities have arisen. Everything looks bad, but that just means we have to escape the sack in which we've been tied and tossed into the river. With the tribute paid to two different forces, one of them allied with Silchester to our northeast, and one of them Wessex to our east, that means that we can likely be protected from them. And with the economic pressure we'll be taken under, we will need money. I'm wondering about the wisdom of joining with, well, the self-appointed Earl, and indeed Florence, and resisting Cornwall. You're muted.
It would be far too late to muster an army now, unfortunately. Should they
To help in
survive
there.
it, there will be one final hold in Gigant.
They would be grateful for the assistance. I'm already drawing up a speech in my head. That's not a good sign. But the way I see it is this. As Marshal, I knew that there would be difficult decisions to make, but doing nothing risks everything. And at the moment, well, a knight is a killer, and our knights have seen us give money to 2 of our mortal enemies. They will need blood, and we'll need to get it somehow. If it's as you've said, and our neighbors in Summerland, minus their kidnapping my mother, and our neighbors to the north, so long as they're contained within their... No, Lily, go away. Contained within their own struggles. And our Saxon and Saxon-allied neighbors to the east don't worry about us. We have the freedom to do something that we haven't had in a while.
But
That being?
That being, prevent another hostile foreign invader from getting a deeper foothold in our shores and becoming our direct neighbor. If everything had gone as I had wished, well, Wessex might have attacked and we would have fought them. But without that, and with Cornwall taking most of the losses already, Lady Ellen, we need to do something.
Prepare your proposal. At Christmas, we'll meet as a council and decide our next action. It's far too late now in the year to begin any bolstering or raising of armies, but we can prepare for next year.
It will be done. In the meantime, in feast and through other means, I'll continue my campaign of bringing mercenaries towards the, well, let's say against the foreign influences within our nation, and towards those that we like more. Thank you, Lady Helen.
She nods to you.
If it would not be too much trouble, I believe my wife wished to have dinner between our 2 families. I wasn't sure the right time to bring it up, so I was going to bring it up at the feast, but...
Oh yes, of course. You're always welcome here in Sarum, and so is your wife.
Thank you very much. Now, I've got more paperwork. Thank you very much, and I apologize, but I suppose that you might be glad that my tenure as Marshal so far isn't as bombastic as it could be. But we'll see what happens.
Test first aid for me real quick.
Oh, no. 5 of a 10, success.
She's looking pretty pale. Pretty thin.
Lady Ellen, when was the last time you saw your physician?
Oh, it's a lingering illness from the winter. I suspect, it's nothing to worry about.
I saw you looking pale at the feast last year. At the time I suspected poison, but I hope you feel better. And should this illness get worse, well, we're in a delicate situation. Should you need anything, let me know.
She nods. And with that, we'll cut over scenes. We're going to go further north.
Let's start a war.
Again?
It's been
So
ages.
soon?
We come back to Perin for the first time in a long time.
Since last episode.
Indeed. Though, that was a very quick vignette. I think in this case, we'll be seeing him quite a bit more. You had to go a pretty precarious and roundabout way to avoid would-be pursuers from Malahut. You ended up going to far east, going through the forest in Rostock and Bedegrain, which allowed you to bypass of the mountains, no less, which brought you back in to Logres for the first time in a couple of years now. You found yourself going south by southwest on what would otherwise be kind of like minor trails, often kind of almost like you were evading pursuit. Almost like Merlin doesn't want to be found. Finally, the last few days, you found yourself amidst the Forest Sauvage. It's full of... Well, it's the most dense forest you've ever passed through. It's like you don't even see the sun while you're in here. It's always a bit dark. Nothing about it feels quite right. And it seems like it just goes on for days and days.
What is this place?
Oh, Sauvage? Are you not familiar?
I haven't been up north very often. No.
It is the land reclaiming itself.
Should know better than expecting a straight answer from you. What does that mean for a poor jester like me?
Is that what you consider yourself now? A jester? I understand that was your cover.
I think that I was indeed made a fool in many ways. It is not who I am, but it is certainly the role that I play. And until that is no longer the case, those two things are indistinguishable, are they not?
He gives a faint smile. His smiles always seem a bit sad, as if he's remembering something that's no longer here. What is it you wish to know about the forest?
Two things. One, you say it's reclaiming itself. From what and for who? And my other question is, why is it important to us? Why is this the route that you've chosen?
It reclaims itself for itself, not for anyone.
It has a will, then.
Its will is chaos.
All right, I can work with that. And it's reclaiming itself from something that's not chaos, so us, then, right? We represent order, control, domination of things that were not meant to be dominated, is that right?
You remember one land, one king?
I
Britain
do.
is now a land of many lands and many kings. The forest reflects that.
You know, I never used to think of Britain as a landmass. It was always a country, a people. But I think my understanding was woefully out of touch.
Even these
So what-
lands have a king. The King of Savage.
Is that who we travel to see? To see?
Oh no. Nope. Not if not by my preference anyways. You asked me why we travel here. We travel here because no one in their right mind would follow us.
Well, that's certainly true. There are a great deal of those who would associate your name with madness, Merlin, and mine. So where do we go then? If not Savage.
He smiles. You remember the giant's dance?
I do, but that's... What am I saying? We could walk into the ocean and end up where we're going when traveling with you, isn't that right?
Quite so.
Well, very well. I'll try not to bore you with too many of my questions. It's frankly nice to speak to somebody who knows me.
Indeed. Give me an awareness check.
Success.
You hear sound of howling in the distance. And then you hear what sounds like almost like dog barks. Yeah, dog barking, multiple dogs barking. And Merlin kind of picks up his power walking a little bit. Oh, we should continue a bit faster.
You aren't afraid of wolves, are you, Merlin?
Wolves, no. Black dogs, yes.
Black dogs. What's a black dog?
Terrible thing. The sorts of things that act as hunters for those who will it. I don't know who wills it. Someone wants me dead. Perhaps Vivian or one of the other ladies of the lake, I do not know.
I see. The question's not so much who could want you dead, and more which person wants you dead specifically now.
Well, it seems we all have a way of getting ourselves into trouble.
So it would seem. Black dog. Interesting. I'll lead the way. I don't mind picking up the pace. Frankly, I could use the opportunity to stretch my legs.
I'm gonna give you a couple quick ticks here, just for things that like Perin is doing as he's going. So give it a tick in, you'll get a tick in folklore
Siege.
and fairy lore and hunting.
Okay, folklore, hunting, and
lore.
fairy lore.
And
Cool.
why don't you
I'm dreadful at all of those.
test energetic for me?
Famous for that, buddy.
Yeah. So you can tick that as well. You are, after all, on a multi-week hike through Britain at a pretty steady pace. So. All right. We're going to zoom back in down in Cornwall. Florence. We have a siege going on. We're gonna pick this up in vignettes rather than doing this in like a full-scale battle. I need you. You may impassion for one of these tests, and only one of them. But you are going to roll battle. You're gonna roll sword.
Can I roll spear instead?
You can, but you won't. It won't be from a jousting perspective.
I'm good with that.
You're not on you're defending a siege, right?
Yeah.
You can tick siege automatically.
All right.
And then I want you to roll those three things.
All right.
You
So
can
I
impassion
am
one.
rolling battle, spear, and siege. I'm going to impassion my siege because it is currently at 1.
Got it. Yep.
And I'll Can I be hospitable to the invaders?
Nope.
I
You're
assume
being
not.
the opposite of hospitable. You're denying them entry to your home.
All right, I am
They even said
rolling
pretty
my
please before you start killing each other.
exactly. Rolling my honor. God damn it!
Ooh, that's a -5, my friend.
Minus 5 to my siege. It doesn't fucking matter because it's a 1.
Yeah, so just roll it flat. Actually, it'll be a -5 to the things that happen in this scene. That is melancholy, actually, isn't it?
Is it melancholy? So it's -5 to every roll.
No, after it doesn't. It take place.
Oh, after
immediately.
this scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
After
Well,
this
let's start
roll.
with the bad one.
On the bright side, you get 25 glory, which is what I'm gonna add to you.
Can I roll my siege last, so I don't get the negative for everything else?
You wouldn't get it for this. You get it afterwards, right?
Yeah. Well, technically, you wouldn't get it for the siege, but then you get it for the other two. I'll give it to you this time, but in the future, if you roll a passion, that is like it happens when it happens. You know, whatever sequence.
All right.
Because I didn't say that before, I'll give it to you this time.
Thank you. Success on battle. Success on spear.
Oh, it wouldn't have affected you.
What do you know? Yeah. What do you know? Fail on siege.
You know what? It would have almost sucked to succeed at that because you would have got a 7 out of 6 if you'd gotten the impression.
That's true. Yeah, it would have sucked anyway.
Okay.
Oh well.
Battle's good. Spear is good. Siege is bad. Okay. Give me a D4 roll, Mark.
1.
1. Okay. Okay. You take a major wound in the battle.
Oof.
For 18 after armor.
All right.
Does that move you to unconscious?
Let me see. Quick do. I'm just conscious.
Okay.
Unconscious is 6, and I'm at 7.
As the invaders begin to ladder over the walls, and you find yourself starting to be surrounded as the siege starts. Actually, I should verify how long this takes too. Oh, damn. Yeah, no, they it's shocking. They just critted on battle, so it's shocking how quickly Idris's forces begin to work the siege and the ladders and start to vault. These aren't gigantic walls, right? These aren't 10th century castles. These are kind of Mott and Bailey style wooden walls and stuff like that. Before
Didn't they fumble on battle? Not to interrupt.
No, they didn't.
No, I imagine their score is higher than 13.
No, that was two different people. That was Idris versus
all right.
Urban. Urban got a 13. Idris got a 20. So.
Oh, I see.
And Idris has the battle skill to do that. So he ends up. Needless to say, Exeter falls within basically a daytime raid. Like it doesn't hold. You end up fighting for your life, and you end up being knocked off the wall by a hit. It sends you crashing to the ground. Well, we might as well just see what that affects, because it might be thematically interesting. So let's just do a quick wound roll here. Damn, 5.2. I need the aging table and like a quick right up here. Okay, there we go. Attribute loss. Give me a D6 roll, Mark.
D6. Anything but a 5.
No
That's
loss.
good, isn't it?
No loss. Yep. You have a major wound, but it's not lost. You hit the ground hard, and like your ears are ringing. You know, you watch as one of the men beside you falls to their death. You look over and you see their lifeless body, and it's kind of like your vision's blurred. Nothing about this is the way you'd hoped or dreamed. This is not even the way you'd ever want to go, right? And what's worse is you're alive. There's a chance that you'll be taken hostage and forced to bend the knee. You start to.
In that case,
give me a contest. Give me a contest.
failure.
You feel your eyes.
Well, it's also with a -5.
Oh yeah. You feel your eyes begin to shut, and you find yourself alone. You look up and you see a hilltop, a familiar one. You seem to be moving towards it, like walking towards it, but you're like moving faster than walking. It's almost as if you're flying at a tree level. And your vision kind of zooms in on that black goat. Roll 2d3.
All right. Four.
Okay.
1 to 3.
Yeah, give yourself 4 health back.
I'm back up to 11.
You hear Merlin's voice. Sir Florence. 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 You find your eyes sort of fluttering open. You see in the corner at the edge of the battle, you see Merlin standing there right beside you, or at a distance. He seems to be waving you over. Come on, this way.
Florence slowly pulls himself to his feet. Probably crawling a lot along the ground, just makes his way towards going, Merlin? Is that... Am I dreaming? slowly make his way over.
Give me an energetic test. You don't have to suffer the -5 on this one.
All right. Thank God.
You move right through the crowd of soldiers fighting each other. You get to the edge, and Merlin offers his hand out to you.
I think it's just the chaos. He's not really sure what's going on. Florence would reach his hand forward. His gauntleted hand.
You feel your hand get clasped by another hand. It's a strong hand. And you find yourself pulled up onto a horse. And you feel yourself riding now. You kind of look out, and you find yourself like riding almost through the crowd of soldiers fighting. Looks like you've made it out of Exeter.
I think probably just seeing like the chaos of it, not quite sure what's going on. There's probably a point where Florence just kind of slumps and falls unconscious again.
Give me an awareness roll first. Let's see, -5 again.
Yep.
Back at that. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
You lean forward, and you begin to pass out again. And then the camera sort of pulls away from the scene a bit, and you find yourself on, or rather, you don't know this is Florence, but the audience sees you on the back of Brassius's horse as the two of you ride away. All right.
Thank God I spent that 500 Libra. Jesus.
500 Librum well spent.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to change scenes now. If everyone's okay with it, I'd like to check in first before I do this, because it's important. It's been a while. But I'd like to propose that this next scene, actually, we probably got to check in. We probably got to do a couple other things first. Won't take too long. A few weeks pass, Edrich. You know this date. It's time for you to make it to the Giant's Dance.
Indeed. Merlin made the request, and, well, there are certain people you don't say no to, and Edric's curious. It's not like it's out of the way, right? It's like 5 miles.
Not at all. All right. I think we'll do this through Edric's eyes, because he's the one not traveling in. And as much as Edrich would be prompt and timely, I think in this particular case, he's the last to arrive. It's an evening, and we see all of you kind of converging on it at almost the same time. Florence, drawn by the dream, unless you would have resisted. Like you would have been brought back to Salisbury already. Would have been cared for a few days. And then you felt these reoccurring dreams, visions of the goat and the Giant's Dance. Do you think Florence would have resisted that?
I think he's in just such a fucked up state. I don't think he would.
Mm-hmm.
I think for him, he's still kind of like floating through it, not sure if he's even alive or dead, or if he died during the battle.
And test, give me a d20 roll versus 17. Let's see how your surgery goes. See if you're at least.
All right. D20. D20, not S20.
The old S20. My favorite roll.
Old S20.
He rolled the
Uh,
S20. Doom has come.
10 versus 17, so a success.
All right. So the Churgeon actually says like they're surprised. You left that with a couple. You described what happened to you, like falling 2 stories off onto stone below, and they're like, all
In
you
armor.
have, yeah. All you have is the initial stab wound, which seemed to have missed everything important in you, and then the fall, which broke a couple of ribs. So they're able to set those ribs for you. And that's it. So you're hurting still, but that's the descriptor why you don't have any future pain.
Yeah, well, I don't have any lingering wounds.
And actually, for dramatic effect, I think it's more proper that we bring Merlin and his guest back last. So we'll say,
Okay.
Edrich, you and Florence arrive almost at the same time. And there's 2 other figures that are approaching from the distance on foot.
Edrich?
To tell the truth, I didn't expect to see you in Salisbury. Are you well? You look, like you've seen better days.
I just fell from the battlement. Nothing big. Oh!
Edrich will get off his horse and approach Florence, almost to kind of like support, if necessary. But he will say, "It seems that your time has been more interesting and heroic than mine has. But I have good
I don't
news.
know about that. I have bad news, so you go first.
Should everything go as I expect, which admittedly it did not go last year, I will bring a proposal of assistance to assist, well, the Earl of Escavalon, such as he is, with the defensive against King Idris. I cannot guarantee success or that people will agree, but as you can tell, I'm Marshal now.
I think I can save you the trouble. Exeter has fallen.
That leaves only Gigant.
Yes. I don't even know how I survived. Well, all that I've been told, I should be dead. Still not convinced I'm not.
Then let me tell you. You live. You breathe. You are still bleeding a little bit. As for your survival, perhaps it was all of that prayer you did when you were younger.
Perhaps. But I'm still confused. Why are you here?
I was asked by Merlin. It was a meeting at the Giant Stands. He spoke with me 2 years ago, while we were hunting the youngest daughter of Igraine. Well, he came. I asked him about Arthur, I believe it was. He said he was safe. I don't know what Merlin has planned, but I do know
Arthur?
that for his scheming, for his wiles, he likes Logres.
Wait. With Arthur, the king's son, is
Yes,
alive.
the one Merlin kidnapped. To hear Merlin tell it, yes. Alive and safe, whatever that means in this world.
Can't
At this
believe it.
point, Merlin and the other arrive. Merlin has a cloak, but the hood is down.
Oh, God. You didn't say it would be them.
What does the other one look like, Bob?
The other one is cloaked, I believe, with the hood up.
Cloaked, hood up. Yeah, that's it.
When you say that to Merlin, Merlin just under his breath in a way that can't be heard at a distance says, "They will be the least of your worries. Better to confront them now than later."
Oh, joy.
Merlin and guests.
Ah, yes. Knights. Good to see you. Good to see you again, he says.
I wish I could say the same. What is going on here?
We are meeting at the Giant's Tents. You all three of you helped me before, yes? The sword?
I think at that, Edrich will look at the stranger. Does the stranger look like they're missing bits?
Can't tell under the cloak, my friend.
Can't tell under the cloak.
Us three?
Oh. Yes. Right. I'm no good at skullduggery.
You sure do like to talk in riddles, though. Oh.
'Twould seem there is no shortage of dead men here. Sir Florence. You look terrible.
That's because I fell off a battlements after being stabbed in the chest.
Perin, if you were not torn out of the afterlife within the last few weeks, you and I will be having words.
What?
Surprise!
We could not find your body.
There was no body to be found. And your description is not that inaccurate.
Lived through St. Albans? Where were you?
Dead, sir. I was dead.
I think at this point, you'd see Florence begin to step forward, away from Edrich, and towards the stranger. One step in front of the other until he stands before him and goes, Is it truly you?
That's a more complicated question than I think you understand.
And then with that, he just steps forward and wraps you in a big hug.
Whoa.
As he goes, I thought you were gone.
I hate to say it, my friend, but I am still gone. Merlin's brought me here, and we have a job to do. But this is not my return. I am still dead.
Maybe I did die at the Battle of Ixor. If
Ixor?
so, I'm glad I get to see you at least once more.
Ixor? The hell are you doing in
Succeedor.
Cornwall?
I thought you knew. I'm the Baron.
I knew that, but what were you doing in Cornwall?
It's a long story, my friend. We have a lot to catch up on. Ugh!
Now,
But
I have
perhaps
to make sorry,
this
you go.
business. No, you go ahead.
Are you gonna strike me now, Edrich? He turns to you.
Edrich got remarkably close without you noticing. And I had to make a roll of love sword of victory to determine what precisely I do and what he'd focus on. But I think as that, and you are released from your hug as Florence goes, we have business to attend to. The both of you are hands around your shoulders, and Edrich will embrace the two of you, and he will say, You are not dead, Sir Florence, and neither are you so long as you walk. It is...
Complicated.
Things have been hell since you left. Things got complicated. All sanity, all rhyme, all reason fled. And seeing you again, some part of the past is brought back. I I lost family when you disappeared. And
I
seeing
know.
it again, it is a reunion.
I want you to know that if there was anything I could have done, I would have.
I didn't just mean Goratrix.
Oh. Oh. I don't want you to feel too relieved, Edrich. What I told Florence is still true. Sir Perin is dead. He has not come back. I am here before you, but I am not Sir Perin.
Whatever else, we will face the situation in front of us. You
Agreed.
are a man who speaks greatly in flyth and riddles, so I will assume it's an identity crisis rather than anything spiritual.
You're welcome to assume that. Though I have been spending more time with Merlin lately, so perhaps he's rubbed off on me.
I was just about to say.
Kind of look over and Merlin's like, he's like, you think he's like right there with you guys listening in, then all of a sudden you look over and he's like walking counterclockwise around the circle, just a few feet away, studying it.
Well then.
Odd man.
Okay.
Odd man. Still not entirely convinced he's not the son of the devil.
That's simple rumor. We saw the house he grew up in.
That doesn't mean anything. Well, let's see what the old coot has to say, shall we?
I think it's more along the lines of what he has us to do. He wants something from us.
It seems not much has changed then.
If it helps. And I don't think it exonerates him completely. But this isn't the first time I've seen him since St. Albans. But it is the first time that he's asked me for something.
He wanders back to the three of you. Good. You're together.
More or less. What can we do for you today, Merlin?
I need to know where your loyalties lie. The three of you once spoke words. You said a pledge. One land, one king. Now, I know that king. I know Uther did not live up to that right. And we are kingless now. Certainly no high king.
Many kings, many lands.
Indeed.
Yet not one true. Or true enough, perhaps.
I'm going to be going away. I need to leave this island. Too many want me dead. It is not my home, at least not for now. And I cannot see what's next. What's best is in hiding. This land
Do
will
you
need
want our help
caretakers.
to... sorry.
It is not a land meant for the Saxons, the Irish. They may dwell here, they may not conquer it. This is a land for the Britons.
For a land that does not belong to them, they're being very diligent to ensure that it, become that way. How may we help? I hope you do not take offense when I say that your presence here hasn't been particularly noted by us. But if you need escape, if you need sanctuary, we can do our best to provide it. But I imagine you have a stratagem in mind.
Indeed. I moved to leave this island by boat south of here. I require escort, if you would have it. Cannot demand it, of course. I must travel to Dorset. Dorset.
Dorset in Cornwall.
No. It is directly south of you guys.
Got you.
It is here. And let me just check.
Oh, perfect.
I just want to confirm the name. Yeah, okay, perfect. That is the name. He says, I plan to leave by the city of Dorchester. It's close to the Saxons and is likely unsafe. But I did not bring you here just for my escort. I'm entrusting you three. You must make up for my absence and what I failed to do.
I will not lie, Merlin. I was going to do the best that I could anyway, for Salisbury and for Logres Greater, but it's very, very difficult at the moment. There are a good deal of foreign influences and enemy spies everywhere.
This is more important, Edrich. Trust me.
It's just on the way home for me. I'd be happy to walk you there.
I wasn't saying this as an obstacle against this escort, which of course I would be happy to provide. Protecting Britain is a very, 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 very difficult job, as I am sure you are aware, Merlin. And we lack your inimicable gift. Do you have any advice, or is the future that clouded?
Oh, yes, I almost forgot. He looks to Perin. You've seen a great many things. You've experienced some. Some of them very dark. I believe you're ready. When you are, please step into the circle.
Ah, delightful. Well, Dead man can't die again, can he? And he'll do so.
No, I've heard about necromancers. They can, multiple times.
You walk
Right
into
on.
the circle, and then all of a sudden, you get there, right? Nothing happens. What do you do from there?
Turns
Camera's
around
just
and
following
waits.
Perin. You turn around, no one
Turns
else is
around
there.
and waits.
The three are gone.
Ah, good. This is wonderful.
Make an awareness test for me.
I am the god of awareness. I never fail.
You have like a sixth sense of sort. Like you feel like someone's standing not too far behind you. Like you're facing the opposite way. Like you look back and then you feel like someone's like looming behind you, kind of thing.
Interesting. Turn to face that shit.
Give me a recognize roll plus 15.
I love to recognize things.
Fair.
That's a success.
As you should. Give me 1 sec.
If it's score low, I'm gonna punch him in the face.
What if it's Uther?
Like die.
Oh,
bro,
then I'm
die.
definitely gonna punch him in the face.
Uther's like, why did you kill me?
First off, I didn't. Second, I'll
I
do it again.
tried. I fucking tried so hard to kill you, dude.
We just hear Perin go, I'll succeed this time, as he leaps out of the giant stance, punching a ghost.
Love it. 1 sec. Just looking. It is, in fact, Uther Pendragon. He's dressed in the same clothes that he wore the night of the infamous feast.
Ah.
He looks confused.
Hello, my liege.
Sir Perin. Good to see you again. I was just... No, I was dead.
You were, my liege. You were very dead, as is your son, Madoc, and your nation has fallen into complete ruin in your absence. Most of your nobility is dead, and the ones that are left are fighting over scraps, killing each other. I wish you could see the legacy you left behind.
I wish I could too. 420, blaze it.
440. Blaze him. I set him on fire.
Yeah. Okay, so at that point, he looks confused.
Can I be of service, my liege?
Is this the giant's dance? My burial ground?
Aye. So it is.
Can you tell me, how did my son die?
I heard he was murdered. Stabbed to death by a number of, well, not bandits, but assassins, I suppose. I wasn't there.
No. I imagine was it you who poisoned me?
No, my liege. Not for a lack of trying, though. If I had killed you, Madoc would be king. Or, at the very least, no one else would have had to die, save perhaps you and me. I would have preferred it that way.
I would ask you a favor. Not for me, but for my son.
You speak of Arthur.
No. Arthur's gone. Speak of Madoc.
There's not much left of Madoc for me to do favors for, Uther Pendragon, but by all means, sell it to me.
Avenge him. Find the one who did it. Find the one who orchestrated it. And slay them.
Why?
Because Madoc deserved better.
Indeed he did, my liege. Indeed he did. Madoc was one of the few people I counted among my true friends. Someone who had the capability to be something great. And to my memory, Uther Pendragon, it was your pride and your lust and your selfishness that doomed him to the fate that he ended in. You say that you ask this for Madoc. I don't believe you. I don't think you are capable of wanting things for Madoc, and even now, I think you want me to avenge his killer because it's likely it was yours too. Or perhaps you haven't even thought that far ahead. Maybe it's just the pride of someone slaying your own blood. Well, Uther Pendragon, I do nothing for you. I owe you no favors. If I was able to make it to Giant's Dance myself and find your burial, I would have spit upon it.
He moves. Give me a dex roll as he moves to tackle you.
Go for it,
you.
man.
Yeah. Just give me a dex roll.
Okay. Save.
Good.
I'm hurt, but I made it.
Yeah, okay. It will be contested. We'll see how this goes. One sec.
Let's have a dead man fight.
Tackled by a ghost.
Dun,
I'm
dun,
tackled
dun,
by a
dun.
fucking ghost. You know, I love that
It's like
part.
Clegane Ball.
I love that part in Hamlet where Hamlet's dad is like, "Oh, avenge me," and Hamlet goes, "Fuck you, old man."
I do what I want.
That's basically the beginning of it. Basically,
It kind of is.
Mhm. Yeah.
perhaps
What
I'm
the
going
fuck are you
insane.
talking
Perhaps
about?
I don't want to avenge anyone, and he's like, bitch.
Like, you do what I want. Let me see here.
He
Yes,
killed
that's-
me. Bitch, you don't know that.
Avenge me. Fuck you. I hate you. Avenge my son. You hated your son too, I think. Because I hate you so badly that I don't believe you're capable of human emotions.
Exactly.
I hate you so bad. I'm psychologically projecting on you everything.
Everything. That flood that happened last month killed the crops. That was you. That was
you.
your pride.
Uther did it.
What's the thing from Twisted? This is all your fault, Jafar.
Yes. Why is everyone in the kingdom wise?
We'll roll a d20 and then we'll see if we have to figure out. Oh, no, he's going to pass an E. So there we go. Don't even have to.
All right. I mean,
So
it's
he
worth
ends
a
up-
shot.
Yeah. He ends up over Perin, and you feel like you're being strangled to death.
He's he just glares, and I think he's smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
Just glaring at Uther. Like, there's a look in his eye that's like, go ahead, prove my point.
Yeah. Okay. With that, like, as you feel like the life going out of you, all of a sudden you're like somewhere else. And you're not even in giant stance anymore. You're in an open field. And you see Madoc up against a tree. He's wounded. Looks like he's in his final moments.
Is it night? Is this like probably the same time of day that he would have died in real life too?
This is exactly. More like dusk, right?
Perin steps over to him and crouches beside him and goes, "It's all right, Madoc. Can you hear me?"
He nods. Perin, you were able to come after all. But you were busy at the feast.
I was, my friend. I can't explain it exactly, but the version of me that's here with you, it's not the one that's at the feast. But I am here. And he kind of takes Madoc's hand and he goes, "I'm here, Madoc."
Now, I have a question. Because Madoc's
Yes,
going to die and you're going to be here to watch this. I need to know where is Perin's mindset when it comes to religion at this point?
Oh.
As far as Christianity versus you've been spending time with Merlin.
Yeah. I definitely think that Perin doesn't believe that there is a god at this point.
Yeah.
He was never super religious. And I don't necessarily know that he thinks that the pagans have it right either. I think it's a little bit more of like it doesn't matter to him. Like, none of this matters. If there was a hell, he would have ended up there, you know? And he's going there anyway, no matter what. It, like, at this point, nothing matters, you know? So he believes in the power of magic. He has yet to see any specific evidence that the Christian God exists. You know what I mean?
Or any god, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Let's just do like a spiritual test in general. Just see if you crit and there's any sort of shift here. I think it's very unlikely that you'll crit. So.
Yes, sir. Which one's spirituality? Spiritual?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's it was almost a fumble.
Yeah. Okay. No, that answers it. Okay. So you are left. After a moment, you turn your eyes away for a second as Madoc passes, and you look back at the tree, and you see all that remains is the gauntlet that he was wearing. Everything else is gone.
The gauntlet. Is it, would you say, potentially the same hand that Perin lost?
Yeah.
One last gift from me, my friend. Thank you. And he takes the gauntlet, and I don't think he puts it on yet, but he carries it with him.
Okay. You find yourself back at Giant Stance, and Edrich and Florence, it's been like, for a half a second, like mist went by and you swear that Perin wasn't there, and now Perin's back again.
Hello, friends. I'm back.
You did not quite leave, at least not to our eyes.
Oh. Well, strange how I got this then. And he holds up the gauntlet.
You go to hold up the gauntlet, and it isn't in your hand.
Well, I look like a fool
No,
then.
but then you look over at your other hand, and it's on you.
This is getting real embarrassing for me. Yeah. It flexes, doesn't it? When I try to...
It moves like a hand does.
Huh. Now that is fascinating.
That we see Florence lean into Edrich going, did he just get his hand back?
All magic comes at a great sacrifice. He had his hand back, and he lost the ability to tell left from right.
Magic sure is strange.
Perin, this is wonderful.
So it would seem. It was nice to... Well, I suppose it doesn't matter. Right, I assume someone else's turn next, or am I just the only one who needed something?
I believe we're ready.
Very well. Shall we, lads? I feel more like myself than I have in years.
Oddly enough, so do I.
My ribs still hurt. I'm good to go.
Yes, do you need first aid or some kind of surgery? We can stop on the... No, we can't. Merlin's
They have
persona
already done all they could.
Actually, I do have a question, Bob. How many, specifically noon on Saturdays, has it been since he got that injury?
2.
So you can regain 2 of your healing rates there.
Yep.
Edrich will say, if we're as ready as we can be, we should go. I do not believe that anyone should stop the Marshal as we travel, but we should keep a low profile anyway if you have enemies outside of Salisbury.
I would like to ride not by open road, if possible. It makes my hunters harder to find me.
That can be done. The forests contain oddities, but I imagine you know that better than most. I still have to rescue my mother.
Your what?
My mother was kidnapped by strange human-shaped things in the forest that retreated into Summerland, so I'm going to be sorting that out soon.
Sorry I asked.
In any case, let us head on the way. Merlin, you have a horse?
No, I should find one, though. With this, you guys all hear like a distant howling, and he looks back, and he's like, It's the black dogs again.
Do black dogs have any added viciousness or endurance to the strikes of a sword?
They can be killed, much the same as anything. But their bite is far
Then you need
worse
not
than any
worry.
dog that lives here.
Oh, well now I'm worried.
Probably get moving then.
Quite
Do
so.
you need to share a horse? I've got mine.
He nods, and he'll take that offer. End up on the back of Florence's horse.
God, I hate magic. I hate it so much.
It's
Let us
sitting on
ride.
the spine right now.
I
Yes.
suppose.
Let's.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get 3d20 rolls from y'all.
I love D20 rolls.
One each, I'm guessing.
Yeah, one each.
18.
9.
Right, that 18 is what we needed.
Good.
You end up riding for a couple of days. Is there anything that you want to sort of ask or inquire about? Anything of the sort? I mean, obviously, Merlin is forever aloof and ever cryptic in his nature. But is there anything anyone has for him?
I think Florence would have a question more for Perin than anything else. So I think as they're riding along, and be like, "So what have you been doing for the past several years?"
I've been a clown.
Is that a joke?
Would suit a clown, wouldn't it?
Huh. Well, I've mostly been fighting a war against a pretender king of Cornwall. Seems we each have our battles.
More or less, it would seem.
You know, maybe it's my memory, but you're not as talkative as I remember.
Oh, I'm plenty talkative. It's just I have to be talkative for work, you see. It's
Right.
a strange experience being back. Not entirely pleasant. Florence, I know you've been through a lot, and I recognize how nice it probably is to see me. But I need you to understand. No one can know that you saw me here, not even as a vision.
I assumed as much. Perhaps I just wanted to enjoy the moment while we have it. I have not had many opportunities of that in the past years.
I would like that too. It's a shame that I don't think it will be possible. I'll tell you this, Florence. If Sir Perin were still alive, I think he would be very proud of you.
I think he'd call me foolish for dreaming to do what I've been doing all this time. And I don't think he'd be wrong.
We've all been dreamers, Florence. I think the test of a man is what he does when those dreams crumble in front of him.
Yes. Well, seems I'll have to find out what'll happen to this man.
I need recognize or no. I need heraldry tests from y'all. As you near the city of Dorchester, Doncaster, whatever.
Wait, God damn it. You gotta be kidding me.
Heraldry. Oh, that's so funny.
You know what? It should have been a
Perin,
+5
you're
for
only
y'all anyways. Because this is familiar.
I get fucked.
So Perin, I think Perin and Florence are,
Florence as well, yeah.
Yeah.
With the +5.
I have people for this.
I think that you two are the first to recognize, because these aren't heraldry of what you've seen from him before, but these are some of Siagris's men, his mercenary banners, not his SPQR, not his banners from King Siagris or Praetor Siagris. These are the banners of the new mercenary units that he wields. This is one of the groups, much smaller. It's not his full band, and it's not him. Obviously, Gary's not here today.
Mm-hmm.
But there are riders that come this way.
Or is he?
Dun dun dun. Cameo. Yep. RKO out of nowhere.
He comes in with the steel chair.
Yeah.
He's coming in with a steel chair.
All right.
Like without Florence grimaces.
You recognize the banner?
Yes.
Hmm.
Stagarius.
Oh, good. Madoc's killer.
Rather
So we have
rather a mercenary group connected to him. I doubt he's actually here.
More's
You haven't seen all the red,
Oh.
or the
I
ghost
would-
that haunts the battlefield.
I wouldn't be so certain. I didn't just leave the Giant's Dance with this new hand. There was something more there as well. If we're here seeing those banners, I think we've got a real shot.
Bob, how many of them are there in that band? We can see banners, so obviously they're here in a capacity.
9. There are 9 knights. 9 mercenary knights.
3 each isn't bad.
No, not bad at all.
But we probably shouldn't jeopardize Merlin's safety.
Merlin, would you agree to a small detour, or...?
You asked Merlin that?
Yes.
He says, it's likely best. I believe Siagris is one that seeks my death.
I should re-clarify. The detour was going out of our way to kill them. Would you like us to avoid them?
I don't know if that will be much of an option anyways.
Oh, good. Edrich will loosen the sword at his scabbard and sit up a little bit straighter.
Why would Stagarius want your death?
Or different reasons. Some seek my death for the matters of Uther's blood and the boy who was stolen and all that.
No shortage there.
There are those that
This
see
is
me
sorry.
the son of the devil and all those reputations. And there are others that know that I was loyal to Uther and to his line.
And to the latter, that is why he seeks your blood. You are
Think so.
representative of an old order.
And yet, the last I checked, Stagirius did not have the strength to send the Black Dogs after you.
Oh no, those are not his doing.
Siagris is gripped by madness. He is no sorcerer.
Well, considering it can't be helped, do you have any advice for us, Merlin? Should we take things straightforward, or try to be more tactical about this?
He looks them over. Your best bet is to kill them. Leave no mercy. No one survives.
About what I expected. We attack from ambush, charge down from the hill. We trample upon them, and with the element of surprise is ours, we cut down the rest.
Is that viable for you, Florence?
Oh, definitely. That he grips his spear. I'm not that out of touch.
Very well. Let's see how rusty my skills have gotten over the years. Hey, Thomas, do you want to do a
Yeah?
contested battle check to see which one of us ends up, like, talking over the other in terms of coming up with a plan for this?
Certainly, let's do it. I think you've still got a higher battle.
Perhaps.
You do.
I do! I imagine it as they both start like coming up with like a plan
They
at the
pretty
same
much,
time.
yeah, pretty much the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't. You've gotten better.
Give me in your absence, I've had to develop my personal skills. But no, that's an interesting place to do it from. I wouldn't have considered that. The sun would be in their eyes. I see it now.
Exactly. Besides, downhill is better for us, but too downhill and we'll trip.
Understood.
At which point,
Cycle
Florence
times.
comes behind both of them, claps them both on the shoulders, and goes, "Seems this is a reunion of the Sword of Victory. Let's show them what true power is."
I don't like that 22.
I think at that point, Merlin, he was riding with who again? Florence?
Florence.
Yeah, I'll tap Florence on the shoulder and say, "Best of luck, Sir Knight."
Oh, thank you.
Go
I
get him, buddy.
suppose.
You just regained 8 health, or you will by the time you start your charge.
Huzzah!
Right. Think I'm back to top.
Hell yeah.
Now, Mr. Bob, I have a question for you. Now, when Perin lost his hand, I believe he was at a 17
Lower
or an
sword
18.
skill. Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
He was about a
It's
7 or 18.
Back to where it was.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now he worked his way up from I think a 1 to a 10 over the last couple of years with one hand. Is that staying the same as well?
Yeah, so I think the way we'll play this out actually is that should you ever need to use your left hand, you have that
Ooh.
skill in your left hand now.
Very fun. All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh shit, dual wielding swords.
No. Shield's better. I'm using the shield.
A
All right,
dagger,
very nice.
You know what I mean? A sword, like
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, you're ambidextrous up to that. So should you be offhanded, if your skill is under a 7, then you'll have a 7 in that skill. So like dagger or sword, and then
Yeah, I'll add a skill called ambidextrous and put it at 10.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very fun. All right, cool. Right on.
Hell yeah.
Perin kind of looks down. Does he have a sword? He wouldn't as Stumpy. I'm assuming Merlin's got some gear on these horses.
Actually, I think could Florence chuck you a sword instead?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
He chucks you the sword that you gifted him, the Sword of the Heart.
Oh.
Yeah.
He catches it.
Thinks you
and
might
goes,
need a weapon.
I'm not sure this blade suits me, but I appreciate it, friend. And he catches it when you toss it with the new hand.
Mm-hmm.
It makes like a clink as he does.
Florence will also add, "It was a gift of a good friend of mine, so don't get it too scratched up." That he grins.
okay.
It's gonna be really funny when we fumble a bunch and die immediately.
It's gonna be hilarious.
Yeah.
A callback to our first battle as these characters, where we just straight up sucked.
It's the equivalent of like Aragorn going for Frodo and then immediately getting hit in the neck with an arrow. Like,
Or Frodo.
Or tripping.
Okay, so
Very-
the
oh, God.
question I have for you all is, what do we plan to do? So we rolled our battle roll. How do we plan to target these folks?
ambush, set shit on fire. I think we're
Well,
gonna light their tents on
quite.
fire, panic them.
No.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine it is less set them on fire and more. Are they like situated in camps or tents, or are they riding? What are they looking like?
They were riding, but you guys purposefully obscured yourselves, so you actually see them returning to a camp not far outside of. Like, you guys are about a couple. You can almost see like the light of Doncaster as it's moving into evening time now, and you can tell that their camp is outside that city, like a lot closer to where your current position is.
I agree with Liam. Then we're fucking shit up.
Yeah, legit. Like, I think the more chaos that is present, the less they're gonna like. The whole Roman thing is strong tactics, right? So, I think burn as many just start throwing torches and burning their shit, and then regroup at a higher ground and have them try to charge us. You know what I mean?
Okay. And the next question is, are your squires here? Were they with you?
Are they?
For this?
Unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a squire.
Edrich. I'm actually going to make a roll. It's going to be Edric's trusting. Trusting versus prudent, I think.
Okay.
Oh, success on trusting. Greatest success.
I think Edric's going to say, Brown, speak nothing of what is about to happen, but you will be attending me for this. Before we head on the whole thing. And yeah, Edrich will have his squire. Just this guy fully out of his depth, terrible at first aid. But Edrich has a duty and a responsibility to help this guy into knighthood, and some part of that is keeping my secrets when I need him to.
Right. Totally work. He's gotcha. All right. Let's get whoever's going to lead this to make a battle roll.
That's you, baby.
I would like to test a passion.
Okay. Absolutely.
Hey, Uther.
Kinda. I don't think Hate Uther would apply here. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
I do hate Uther, it's just not relevant in the situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loyalty, sword of victory. Oh,
Fuck yeah! Get fucked, Sigirius. You piece of shit.
Incidentally, would have been a critical even without the bonus.
Oh, that's fun.
Natural 18.
Okay. So your as described, your actual tactics go off very soundly. You create a whole bunch of chaos, including torches and fire, lighting their camp on fire before retreating up the hill. They're left in such a way that only 5 of them are going to organize and come up this hill. The others are scattering and afraid. They think that they're being drawn into an ambush, but 5 of them, either their reckless or their valor is taking over, and their willingness to take orders, and so 5 are gonna continue up this hill. The other 4,
I think
4 are not.
I think that's perfect. I think Perin's thing that he said to them right before was make 3 men feel like 100. You know?
All right. Yeah, there were 9 of them, so 4 of them kind of retreat instead, and the other ones aren't fully certain as they start up the hill. Florence and Edrich, recognize roll +5.
Recognize. I'm okay at that. Success.
Success.
All right. Perin, give me a D6 roll, please.
4.
4. You have a directed trait now,
Ooh.
and I'll let you decide where you put this.
Hate Uther even more.
Yeah. It's going to be. Actually, no. I'll allow it to work for both. It'll work on just or vengeful. It's a +4 avenge matic.
Oh. Vengeful. Let's
No,
do
it
vengeful.
applies on both. So whenever
it applies
you use
on both. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very good.
It's attached. Effectively, it's attached to the magic on the gauntlet. That's how it's working.
Oh, that's dope.
Within, Maddox's ghost is going, strangle him! Strangle him!
Get him! Get them, fucker.
All right. All 3 of you. Funny enough, Perin too. Even though it makes no sense that Perin does. All 3 of you recognize two of these men that are moving up are two of the men that did successfully, were involved in Madoc's death. For Perin, you just know them. You've never met them before, but you know them now.
The gauntlet tells me things.
It
And I
speaks.
listen. It is a day for reunions,
Kill them all.
ladies and gentlemen.
One of them needs
Perin,
to remain alive.
Kill them all.
Yes, Gauntlet. One of them needs to remain alive. We'll get to it, I promise. I'll let you do it, even.
You start talking to your hand all the time.
Yeah.
All right.
Charge.
Charge.
Yep,
Charge.
charge.
Perfect. All right. There are 4 of them.
5.
Five of them. Sorry. How do you want to break this up?
Edrich will take 2.
Perin will take...
Florence will take 2. You can take 1.
Oh, I'm impassioned. I can take... No, I'm impassioned right now. I can... Oh, I guess you're still better, though.
Do you want to split a man in half? Quite literally?
Yeah! Let's each take 1 and then fuck up the other guy twice.
Alright.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so Edrich is going at 2 versus 1. Florence and Perin are both going 1 versus 2 as well, but you're splitting on the same guy for that one. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Why don't we figure out how you guys are splitting?
Alright.
First, I would like to invoke a passion, if I might.
Okay.
In this case, it's going to be Loyalty Lord. Actually, do I want to do that? Because if I roll a fumble, it will go down to 14 again. No, I'm going to do it because it's thematic. Because this is in relation to Madoc. Madoc, who was a good friend and who would have been his lord. He failed in that one time that he lost sight of him for 5 minutes and he died. So Edric's going to do his best to try and, live up to a promise made. He won't, but the thought that counts.
It's the thought
On a
that-
15, nothing bad happens.
Indeed.
I'm gonna split.
We also, I believe,
Uh,
get horse bonus for for charging and being on a horse, yes?
They are mounted.
They're mounted. Okay.
We do get a charge bonus, though.
You do get a
Just
charge.
charge.
bonus.
5.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm gonna split 13 both ways.
13 both ways? Okay. We'll address yours first, then we'll go to the next person. So go ahead and roll when you're ready.
Or is that? Actually, tell you what, I'll just do it on this so you guys don't have to see my chest.
Oh.
I know,
Rhodri.
I know. This is where I fumble, so be ready, you guys. Success. Success. Same roll.
Huzzah.
Got them both?
Hell
Hell
yeah.
Yes.
Now, don't kill them both. Roll low damage on one of them.
I'll do my best to roll low damage. Come on, fate. Damn it, it listened to me. No, it listened. What the hell?
It doubled listening to you for some
Mhm.
reason.
I got the same roll twice, 2 times.
That's fun.
They're both wounded in the first passing as these 2 knights engage with Edrich. One of them looks at you and is like, "Sir Edrich?" Like he recognizes you, and then that just enrages them even more. We go on to Florence in that exchange. So neither got their shield up. So 19's a shitty roll, but you're getting a full 9 damage on both of them as a result. So that's pretty good.
Alright. Florence is using his passion of loyalty, sword of victory.
Fuck yeah.
Cracker!
There you go. All right,
Huzzah!
goes up to 16 automatically,
15.
and you get
Uh,
nothing special,
Plus-
unfortunately, on the crit.
oh yeah, just +5, yeah.
Yeah.
All right then, and I am splitting it 12 to 12.
Okay.
But I do get a plus 10 to each. So it's.
I'll warn you guys
22.
too. I use
No,
dice
plus-
rolls
yeah,
to
plus.
determine the quality, so it's possible you guys will end up against different quality of opponents here. Just so we know.
Yeah.
And I'll track the one guy. The second guy will be the one that's also facing Perin when I roll.
All right.
Lance
Well, that's a
crit.
critical.
Nice. And I'll take your second. Rolls.
And then second roll.
I thought you were doing 12s, weren't you?
Stand up. It is 12s.
Yeah. Okay, so re-roll them versus 12s. Yeah. Or is that?
No, I did.
Okay.
That's
He's
because
got
I
to
get
his
5
passion
for.
and
Plus five.
charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
5 for passion and 5 for charging.
Perfect.
So it's a 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
Double fumbles.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Get fucked, these guys.
Yeah. All right.
Second funniest outcome, we don't all
Alright.
fumble immediately. We actually kill them really easily, and it's very badass.
With
21.
our luck today.
Plus 12. And
Okay.
then for the other guy,
That was the guy you're fighting solo.
27.
The second guy, gets a 27 minus 10.
I'm
17.
finally rolling well on damage. Finally.
You know my pain. Good. Good.
Okay. We'll move to Perin's opponents now.
That's all. All right. So with my splitting it evenly, and with my passion bonus and charge bonus, I should be rolling at a 17, 18 for these.
Also,
Yep.
you're currently acting on that directed trait right now. That applies as a
Yeah?
bonus to your weapon.
Oh,
skill
so I
right
get
now.
another 4?
only because these people are directly involved.
Yeah,
in-
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
I get you. I get
Yeah.
you.
So
I get you.
21 and 22.
Well,
I got good news for you. We know the second guy rolled a 20. So
well. Jesus Christ! I had a better
good.
bonus on that.
they both missed. The second guy we confirmed already. He's the guy that Mark hit with 27. He fumbled, so we know he's like not going to be able to succeed against you, right? Because he was just attacking Florence, not Perin. So Perin, you succeed with both.
Huzzah!
So you get to do your full damage to both.
Full damage to both. Fuck them up, baby. Okay, cool. And I assume we're just on regular chargers.
Yeah.
30 damage to one of them.
Okay.
That's 3 6s.
Shit, that's the one I needed alive.
Don't worry, he's at 20. He's probably alive, but he's off his horse for sure.
And then 28 to the guy who had 4 left.
Yeah, Florence and Perin, you just completely slaughter one of them, just dead. We'll say it's like the one that was like the most familiar face
6,
of Madoc's
No, 4.
murderers.
Yeah,
Dead
fuck that
instantly.
guy.
All right, and then Perin, you've unhorsed your other opponent, so he's now on the ground.
Good.
Florence did 21 damage minus 10, so
21 plus 12.
Yes,
plus
so
12.
That's a
33.
critical.
Yeah, and that guy fell off his horse because he fumbled. So 1 sec. Another 6, or another 3. So 21 plus 12 plus 3. 6 minus 10. That guy's like dead too. Like, so Florence, you are enemyless here. Perin, you've got an opponent on the ground, very injured, remaining, and Edrich, you are 1 versus 2 this round again.
I'm good at a very few specific things, and you are embarrassing me in front of my friends. Die!
Right. Both your enemies are wounded, I will note. But you may exchange with them. They're both going to focus on you exclusively because they assume that the others are doing fine, and they're not. So.
Real goofy of them, honestly.
But you know their skills are low at least. 11 and 10. You can roll whenever you're ready, Edrich.
Shall do. I'm gonna activate another passion. This one lower than the others, but also thematic. Please don't fumble. Never mind. I'm having a bad day.
All right.
It's so weird
let's
being on this
do-
side of this. usually I'm in your place, Thomas.
2 successes.
Well,
Very
you've
nice.
got you're gonna outdo the first success, and then the second one fails outright. So go ahead and give me your damage for the first guy.
First damage for the guy who got a shield. Jesus Christ. 4 ones. Second. What's going on?
These rolls.
3 ones that time.
Okay. Let's see here. 9 plus nothing for the the first one's still at 9. The second one
Yeah, second one.
is at you failed outright, so plus 3. So 12 damage to the second one so far. You're still out contesting 2 opponents yourself. No one else has done that. Keep in mind.
Yeah.
And you're also forfeiting the likelihood of a crit, right? So it's kind of what's happening. All right, we're gonna move then to determine. We'll go to Perin next, and then figure out Florence from there.
Okay, so I have killed the guy that Florence and I were sharing, and the other guy you said he was badly hurt and unhorsed, right?
Yeah, unhorsed.
Okay.
He's not yet in a
Unhorsed.
hearse. Yeah.
I think
For now.
Perin is going to call out to Edrich and Florence and say, "Take the others. I'll secure this one." And I think he's going to get off the horse and like check this guy for dagger and try to bind him. Is that doable, or is he still like up and just hurt?
Yep, you can do that.
Cool, doing that then. Oh, it's so nice having a hand again.
Yeah. What I think it is in this specific case, like normally Edrich, if you've ever seen Berserk, like guts just cutting through enemies moving at the speed, that's him impassioned. Here, he's trying to get it up, but his mind's like elsewhere, so he's just going off of like pure swordsmanship, and he's like, I haven't cut them in half yet. This doesn't normally happen.
All right. We will move to Florence's decision on what he wants to do here. You see, Edrich is out contesting his 2 opponents, but they continue to, you know, keep him at a disadvantage.
In that case, I'm gonna come up next to one of them and stab them with my spear.
Okay. 1 or 2? 2's probably
let me look
closer.
at my sheet. Probably 2 then.
Yeah.
All right, this is a spear attack.
Okay.
That's another crit.
Yeah, the best he can do is crit, and I just want to verify that his skill is 10.
Oh, speaking of which, so 24, 24, 50, 48 is 63.
Where did I roll against Thomas last couple times? Oh, verse 11, verse 10. Okay, this guy has his 10 skill.
Yep.
Fails. I've been rolling like really, really bad this fight too. It's kind of great. These guys are coming out like you know, like brutes in a bad swashbuckling movie. It's great. So give me your.
We're both having bad days.
Give me your damage. I love
right.
it. A different shift.
25 plus 14.
Plus 13 minus 10. 42. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. And we'll turn to Edrich for the final. Now you've got one opponent as Florence comes in and unhorses in a single stab of the spear. He unhorses your second opponent, sending him to the ground, breaking his neck as he hits the ground.
Edrich takes that moment of impact, and I'm certain the last remaining guy like looks to his left in shock and surprise, and Edrich just right in the unprotected area.
All right, give her.
19 and
Crit
crit
damage.
bonus. Hold on, where are you at? There you are. Another 19.
That's what you needed.
So 38.
Okay. E2 is dead. You run him through with your sword, right?
Yep, I think Edrich takes that moment where he looks in shock and surprise and right through the throat, and then Edrich removes the sword and goes, "Thank you. Pride dictates that I say that I had that, but I thank you."
Oh, you can say whatever you like. Between you and me, I'd be the one who's been at war for the past 2 years.
That's true. Perhaps I'm out of practice. Edrich will wheel his horse around and say to Perin, "The remaining 4, we should run them down."
Agreed, but this man's our priority. You take care of them, I'll handle him. Oh, and Edrich. Don't forget you're being upstaged by a one-armed man as well.
I was hoping nobody would notice, but apparently not. Once again, the devil shits in my dinner. And that's,
I know what'll
those
cheer
are the-
you up. Let's run down 4 poor bastards.
Shall do. And the horses go to gallop.
Okay. So you move to run them down. Why don't we just do a real simple battle roll from Edrich? And assuming that's a success, we're just gonna do a couple of quick tests, and you guys are gonna make short work of these 4.
RN Jesus. I know sometimes I spite you, but I swear to God it's to do funny stuff. Let this be cool. There we go.
All right, so I need a primary weapon score from Edrich and Florence, and then I need we'll do a horsemanship roll from each of you as well.
All right.
Oh,
Or lustful, apparently.
Or lustful roll, apparently.
sorry.
Wrong character.
Hey.
No,
he's,
it was the right character. It's just
man
not what I
with
wanted.
with a 22. Interesting.
All right. Successes in both rounds.
Successes.
Okay.
Do I
All right.
make you horny, baby?
You run them down, and we'll kind of move forward. We'll give Perin just a moment with the one he captured, if there's anything he asked specifically. Well, Edrich and Florence are making short work of these guys, kind of off screen almost. Do you take no prisoners, by the way? You kill all 4 of them, or are you trying to keep captives here too?
Let's find out. Why don't we?
I mean, Merlin did tell us to take no prisoners, which I guess I forgot.
Florence would.
Edric's not interested in unless these people are worth a particular ransom. Edrich doesn't care if these people live or die, so he's just gonna kill them just to be safe.
Mercenaries typically aren't worth much ransom unless they're a mercenary captain or someone high rank.
Mm.
And since these ones aren't, they just die.
So that brings us to Perin, if you have anything you want to say to your captive. If not, we'll kind of move forward a little bit.
He just wants to find out any information about where Sticarius might be. Anything under threat of death. And then once he has that information, he's going to kill this man.
It seems that there is a Motte and Bailey being built by Syagrius in the lands of not far from Dorchester. So right here in this county. Which is
Perfect.
You've started to hear various rumors of, like, since it's anarchy, people are like, well, I need to defend myself. Well, why don't I just make myself Earl or Count? Or, you know what? Let's just, we're a bunch of monks. We're getting raided. Why don't we just build our own mountain, Bailey? We can defend ourselves. Like, that kind of stuff's happening because there's no authority to speak to it.
Speaking of which, slitting this guy's throat, can I check cruel? I have a 15 versus a 5 in it, and I think Perin would just do it. I don't feel like I need to roll in this situation if that's acceptable.
Sure. I don't think it's particularly. Maybe he begs for mercy then, and you slit his throat.
I mean, I told him that I would let him live if he told me that information, and I lied to him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Okay, cool. When the boys arrive, Perin will already be walking away from the body, and he'll be like, "I have a location. You want to finish this tonight? It's close."
Well, we're close to the coastline, and indeed we have other hunters after us. As much as I would like to assault Sigarius, and I very much do, the boat shouldn't be far. Is that correct, Merlin?
Not far.
Right.
Actually, I think you turn around and you see him walking. he's like 100 yards away, walking out almost into along the tree line, but like in the open towards the city.
In a display which is probably not suiting Edric's 34 years of age, he mutters as much to you guys as to himself. "Oh, I need defense, brave knights. I'm being hunted. Let me just walk away from the people with swords." And then he will ride up.
Thing. I think as they're riding up, Perin goes, "Well, he was being chased by dogs, and yet we're not going after the one that sent those. I imagine there's another purpose here. He said he wanted to leave, maybe the coast?
Well, that is the way. If he
is he going to
it
pull
is by boat.
Was he going to pull another sword out of a body of water? Brilliant. We need more of those.
I wonder if there is a Lady of the Sea. Knowing my luck, there is. Knowing my luck, it's more ghosts. Let's continue.
All right. So you see the city of Dorchester for the first time in a long time, and man, has its defenses increased since the last time you saw this city. It's an old Roman settlement, of course, but it seems to be in really good position right now. Very wealthy compared to what you've seen in most of Anarchy, and they've been sitting here quietly just under Salisbury, with sort of like under the radar. Like no one's talked about them in any court, any feast, nothing. You don't even know who rules it.
Which, for me specifically, is a bit worrying. But that's something for future Edrich.
It's future Edrich problems. All right. Merlin doesn't show any concern with wandering right into Dorchester. No one seems to pay him any attention. Are you guys gonna follow along or try to warn him otherwise? Otherwise, he's just gonna wander the fuck in.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, we just wander in after him.
Edric's going to go to Merlin and say, "Merlin, if you wanted subtlety, subtlety is what we have. Let us go off this beaten path."
It's best now that many know that I leave. Perhaps they can stop with hunting me then.
Very well.
We've always been good at riding around flashy. Perhaps we do that again. I think Perin even like he as he's saying that, ironically, he is cloaking himself.
All right. Okay, so he's gonna walk right through, kind of the city, right to the ports, and give me. I forgot to do that. Give me either a first aid or an awareness test. Just pick the one that's higher for you.
Awareness. Success.
Critical.
I'll do a first aid because I'm different. Success.
I'm different.
Okay, so you can all take a tick in that. As well as your weapon skills, by the way. for that last fight.
Hey.
Yeah. Not a lot of combat during Anarchy yet, so might as well take it where we can. So for Perin, for sure, I think we'll start with Edrich. Edrich, you notice that Merlin looks tired. You've seen him tired before. I think for Perin, we'll go to Florence first. He looks sickly to you, like he is physically ill, and he's certainly, if this were anyone else, they would need bed rest. Might explain his pushing things along more so. For Perin, it's like, beyond a shadow of a doubt, he needs to sleep. You've seen him use magic how many times on this journey alone?
A lot.
Without any rest.
He's going to need to do sleep, and when he does, it's going to be a long one. That's why he wants to be out so fast. Interesting. All right. I think Perin will ride alongside him and go, I know you know your limits better. When you sleep, you're going to be sleeping for a while, aren't you?
And he nods. It'll take me a week to get across the water, or more. Once I'm there, I have a few places planned. He looks to Perin, and he's like, and for you, where will you go?
Not back to the fucking Centurion King. I'll find something. Stay low for a while. Now that I have some of myself back, I think I'll start preparing for when you return.
If I return. I intend to.
If you return. Well, if you don't, then I will have built something quite comfortable for myself for nothing.
I have a long journey ahead of me. I think it's time to visit Rome. Perhaps Virgil's notes are there.
My brother? When has he been to Rome?
He smiles. Similar likeness, similar name. Very different.
Right, the poet. Someday I should like to read his work. For what it's worth, old man, I know many see your machinations as inhuman. But you've spoken to me when you didn't have to, when you had very little to gain. I'll not forget that. And should you ever desire someone to see in your dreams a friendly face, you'll have one in me. Agreed?
He nods. Agreed.
For now, I recommend you double time it. We should move twice as quickly if we want to get you to the ocean by the end of the day. Push a little further, a little faster.
With that, he moves about as quickly as he can, which is not much faster than he's going right now. I think for Perin, we should probably do a contest too, because you've been on the road for a long friggin' time. Let's see how...
Energetic?
Energetic, actually, yeah.
And do I get my Madoc bonus?
Not anymore. Nope.
Yeah.
Not at the moment.
Hell yeah, I'm barely awake.
No, you're good. You're
I'm good, but I'm barely good.
You yourself, it's like one of those things where when you do go to sleep, you're probably going to sleep for like a 24-hour period. Not because of magic, just because you're tired. So, with that, I think Merlin will find safe passage. You can tell he was saving what little energy he had for one other spell. The likeness of his visage changes, but temporarily. He still looks like an old man, but he doesn't look like the Merlin you know. In fact, he looks like
that old chestnut.
that old man that you saw all those years ago on the hill, beckoning you to help him find his goat.
I know exactly what I'd say if I was still playing Goratrix. That would be, that was you! But Edrich
It wasn't
just nods
Goratrix,
and
that was
continues
Edrich.
his duty.
Wasn't it?
That was us,
no,
yeah.
no. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
saying if I was still playing Goratrix,
Oh, okay.
I'd react
Gotcha.
like that. Putting it together after decades.
Yeah.
They gave a Florence a lad. Also, your goat friend? He does well too. Currently have him at my manor.
He smiles. This may be the last time I see you, friends.
Say it's been a pleasure knowing you, but well,
We will do our best to maintain Britain's safety. But, well, we are 3 people, and it is a big island.
One more thing before we part. The sword. What did happen to it?
It's been reclaimed. Not by man.
Ah. Well,
But there is another sword now. Perhaps you've heard of it. It rests in a stone, not far from London.
I don't think I have.
All right.
Doesn't it?
I heard something about that.
He looks to you all pleadingly, and he says one last thing. He says, Baden. Baden must hold. Salisbury must hold. Remember this.
They will.
Very well.
Very well.
With that, he looks at all of you. There's a more fond look, I think, than you've seen in him before. Like a look of recognition. How many times did he just call you knights before, right? There's that look of real recognition in each of you. He nods to each of you, and then he says, I will miss this place. But all that is good is in hiding now. I will return when the time is right.
If you return.
He nods. If the time is right.
If we're still around, yes. Well, if we're still around, perhaps we'll throw you a feast.
He smiles.
For what it is worth, Merlin, I think you will return. And you will see a land, perhaps one mired in strife. But you will see a land that can be fixed and made better. People like us, all of us gathered here. The devil is never truly done testing us. And so we continue to endure.
Fight bravely, Knights of the Sword. He smiles, and with that, you will board the ship. All right. And why don't we take a break, and then we'll kind of talk a little bit off screen and figure out what we're going to do with the last remaining 45 minutes or so of the session.
Huzzah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back soon. All right, we are back, and we're back with Edrich, Florence, and Perin still. We've agreed off screen. We did a 1d4 roll for Perin. We decided to lower his honor by 4 after that roll. So, this is partially due to that one action, but it's also due to just how his life's been for the last 2 years and other things he's been doing. So he's down to a 10. It kind of makes sense. I think in contrast, our second lowest honor is what, like 15 right now? So like,
Yeah.
Yeah, with me.
So
I'm also at 15, so.
Hey!
Delightful. You guys
You
should
gotta
really
get-
look to Virgil as the moral compass of your party, I think.
No.
look to Leo till he murdered somebody.
Exactly, yeah.
The dice keep fucking up my NPCs. But it's great.
That's life.
Yeah. Okay, so we agreed to come back and give these characters some space. Do you want to do this right in Dorchester, or do you want to do this somewhere else?
I think like Edrich will recommend, let us head further out of this place. Let's go back to the hills, a little ways away from where we killed the men of Syagrius. There we'll have some privacy, and we'll be able to chart a course next.
Very well then.
Uh-huh.
With that, we meet at the hills.
My squire did bring rations. You must be hungry.
Sorry about that.
That's all good.
I don't intend to stay long, I'm not sure. Moving to another place will be necessary, but if you insist.
Where will you go next?
Elsewhere, I think.
I imagine you will not be seeing your children.
Perin of Durnford needs to have died at St. Albans. If he survived an event that killed everyone else who was there, and once his lack of sympathies for King Uther start to become more apparent as time goes on, it will only put Sir Perin's family in more danger.
I see.
For all your hatred, and preparations perhaps towards that fact, you did not kill King Uther. The dishonor
You don't?
comes only from hiding.
You don't know that. And even still, in my heart, I do not have anything to regret other than failure. But to the Knights of Logres, I have not known them to be particularly reasonable men, especially not when the country has been thrown into chaos, and there is very little to do but blame someone for such a thing.
You're not wrong. I
No.
mean, they hung Uther's butler, but nothing more than a few rumors.
Perin's purpose was served. He did not complete. He did not achieve anything worthwhile in his lifetime. But in his death, and now with this, and he gestures to his new hand, maybe there is something more that can be done from his corpse.
Perhaps there is
disagree.
something more all of
Oh,
us
sorry,
can
go
do.
I disagree with you, Perin, and I would be lying if I said that I understood. But it is something we can all work with. To your point, Florence, yes. We have a duty now, or at least a request, and it's one that I was attempting to do in the first place. To maintain, at the very least, the sovereignty of Salisbury, and, on a larger scale, protecting Logres as best we could. So, how does a dead knight, a marshal, and a baron do that?
I can't be in Salisbury any longer. If there's too many people there that would recognize my face, my words. So I will be disconnected.
I could.
Cornwall.
I'll find my way around, gather allies, gather armies, whatever I can.
That is a smart plan. I could use you in Cornwall, but if I'm to be honest, I don't think we will last out that much longer. Next is Gigant. And for now, I must see that those in the axe that I need are moved back to Salisbury, just in case.
If I can rally people, my friend, then you will have the armies of Salisbury, at least, to assist against King Idris.
Well, I will have to see if there is an Earl to Ascalon. I mean, what's it called again? Devon? Is it Devon?
No, it was Devon. It's Ascalon now. Why did they?
Opposite.
No, other way around. Other way
Oh,
around.
really? Got
Yep.
you.
I need to make sure. Oh, I need to see if the Earl of Devon is even still alive. If not, perhaps I need to make some rash decisions.
Name another
Do not-
one.
Do not make the same mistake that Gorlo did. A piece of land is just a piece of land, regardless of its title. And something can always be returned to. The land knows no king, the people do.
You're not wrong. Perhaps I have a plan then there. It all hinges on whether or not I can bend the knee as well as my predecessors. There's not much
Well-
I might be able to do from my position as a baron. But perhaps on the inside I might be able to halt a few things. Improve our chances.
Decision is rash indeed, provided you're feigning allegiance to the King of Cornwall. But we will see what the fates have in store.
As it has been said to me by a dear friend, 'tis bend the knee or lose thy head. He didn't say exactly that, but you get my point.
I will say
If I
too,
am to... Yes, if I am to stay baron, I do not have much of a choice.
I will say too, I've never known anybody who could gush quite the same as Florence. I have no doubt in my mind that he'll be able to convince the King of Cornwall that he's genuine. Hell, you'll probably convince yourself you're genuine.
Well, that's the best part of it. You know it's a good lie when you yourself learn to believe it.
Perhaps I'm old-fashioned, but I don't relish the thought of even more land coming out of foreign occupation. But within that line of reasoning, the Saxons to the east in Silchester. What were the lands that Merlin said shouldn't fall? It was Salisbury and the first one. It was
He said
Berwick?
Baden.
With the B.
Baden.
Baden.
Where's Baden?
Where's that? We're all like, yeah, we'll protect that. What the fuck was he talking about? Where was that?
Give me folklore plus 10.
Oh fuck.
I'm gonna take a guess, and it's whatever was Salisbury before Salisbury.
Hell
Critical!
yeah.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
I'm getting a lot of crits today. I'm rolling really
Yeah.
well.
You're rolling in the glory. This brings you up to 100 from this episode alone.
Wait.
I don't think I've failed a single check today.
Oh, I know,
That's
yeah.
wild.
I'm close to being famous. This close.
Okay. It makes sense to you immediately, and Perin knows it too, so he can kind of confirm it. But Florence, Baden Hill is an ancient hill fort. right on the edge of Salisbury, if I remember correctly. It might even be on the map. Let me just check.
Old Hillfort. Do I know if anyone has claimed it in recent years?
You don't really know the state of it. I'm just seeing if it's on this map or not.
I think there's Dinton. I think you should give it to Virgil.
Honestly,
I
not a
might.
terrible idea.
Yeah,
He'll protect it.
He'll protect the shit out of it.
straight up.
It's on some of the maps. It's in and around Salisbury. It doesn't specify it, but I know I've seen it on maps, but I don't see it on this one.
Can you give us general direction? Like, is it
I'm
north or
pretty
south?
sure it's between like Sarum and Duplain somewhere. It's like closer to Levcamagus, if I remember correctly, somewhere in like it's
Oh,
somewhere
interesting.
between. If I remember correctly, it's somewhere between that, this, and this. I just don't remember where exactly.
Hey,
Interesting.
Virgil, you want land?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Fuck you.
Hey, Virgil, we got a castle for you. It's just this fucking ruined shit.
Cool. My first castle.
But no, I think, as you've said that, Edrich will say, then we should figure out who owns it. As much as material and political matters are more in the forefront of my mind, should we protect the things that the Archdruid tells us to protect, I imagine it will serve us well.
If only we knew the Marshal of Salisbury who'd be able to ensure such a thing. Oh, wait a
Like so.
minute.
What?
Did you not hear? Edrich here was made Marshal of the land.
Do you
Don't
know
ask
more
me.
part?
I didn't vote for him.
Indeed not. If I remember, you were disqualified.
Huh. I would have thought
Harsh.
the position would have gone to Sir Leo.
Give me. Sir Leo,
That's
No, I
enough.
took
don't.
umbrage.
I
at
don't
my-
like the faces that you guys are making it when I just said that.
Sir Leo took umbrage at my leadership and attempted to make his own faction, during which he snapped the neck of the leader of another faction. And
Jesus Christ.
Not on purpose, but
by
yes,
accident, yes.
he did.
Hmm.
That was after a northern spy and that was before a northern spy and assassin murdered Sir Jarenth, which
Oh yeah, Sir Jaren is dead too. Yes.
Oh,
Jarenth's
Gareth.
alive.
Jared, sorry. Jared.
Yeah, pity. Sir Leo, he probably doesn't have good place and good standing in Sarum anymore, does he?
No.
The last I heard, he was in jail with a number of factions baying for his head.
Then perhaps it's time that he leaves Salisbury.
Hold on.
He's not in
I'm
jail.
gonna-
You
I'm
don't
gonna
know
roll-
where he is. You don't know.
We don't know where he's
Oh.
going.
Oh, I don't? Okay.
He ran off. Remember?
Yeah.
I didn't know that he ran. I thought he was being held. I thought he was taken away.
No,
Never mind.
I
took
believe he did it and then he ran.
He
And we
pulled
didn't
like
know what happened to him.
yeah. He pulled like a pulled a Virgil.
He pulled a Virgil.
Like right after Virgil too. Like not far after Virgil. So
I think with that failure in just, Edrich is going to say, unbecoming as it is for a former royal constable to say, should you find him, one can make use of him. He was a good knight despite a singular failing.
I agree. And he'll likely be pretty desperate, too. Alright, I'll see what I can do. And I haven't made many friends in my time dead. But I have made a few connections, and I've heard plenty of whispers. I'll see what I can do. Should you need to reach me, and you shouldn't need to reach me, I think I'll go under the banner of a black dog.
Seems fitting, considering the recent events.
Are you seeing the making of a Lord of Vagabonds?
Would certainly seem to help. Logres is a land of shifting borders right now. There are many who will be continuously displaced by that. Perhaps an army of knights errant would be valuable.
And from what I hear, there is good money in being a mercenary knight. Should one care for that
Telling
sort of
me,
thing.
dropped almost 500 libra on those.
500 leap.
On
I'm
who?
rapidly becoming aware of my finances.
But I digress.
Hmm.
Well then, seems you have an idea of where we are each heading next.
There is a matter of Syagrius. Within the borders of Salisbury, he seems to be building his own motte and bailey.
I'll keep an eye on him. I promise. Should I have something actionable, you'll know.
Good. I want to
Worst
make
comes
sure.
to- sorry.
I want to make sure that justice is brought to him for what he did.
Worst comes to worst, I'm certain I can lend my minor influence to the task. Regardless of how many men he has, I'm certain it will crumble beneath the weight of Salisbury knights. We've been spoiling for a fight for a while.
If last night was any compare, I imagine the three of us could do it just fine by ourselves.
Those were the days.
They may yet still be, Edrich. We should call it an evening. Get moving. I imagine people are going to be asking where we've been.
Well, we can make many different stories. Patrol, we could tell the truth. But whatever we decide, we'll keep, for the sake of our friendship, your involvement secret.
One last thing. Sir Florence, you asked me about my family, and Edrich, you asked me if I planned to see them. How are they?
Virgil is doing well enough. As for your children, there was a complicated situation where your wife brought them to a separate castle without informing him, but I believe that's been sorted.
With Sir
Nonetheless,
James.
Quite so.
She's always been uncomfortable with Virgil's buzzing. I can understand that. Is he
No
doing
matter
all
what.
right?
he is. He's comporting himself very well and learning a variety of, well, varied tactics and talents. He's a good knight.
No matter what, nothing bad will ever happen to your children.
That's good. Right. Well, I think it's time I get moving. I have a lot to do. And I have to start to figure out how to do it.
As do I. I need to come up with a good story and see how many I can bring to my banner.
Florence, keep me abreast in an official capacity regarding the movements in Cornwall.
I will. And if I can't do officially, perhaps my brother will see the madness in my eyes and bring you the information that is needed.
Sounds like a plan. Now, the three of us now. Edrich will turn to Ground, his squire, and say, "Speak none of this."
Oh, I forgot your squire's here. I have to kill him.
Don't. Edrich will just raise one hand, like offhand.
I think for
No.
the first
Looks absolutely
time...
terrified.
Yeah, I think for the first time in literally years, Perin laughs genuinely at that.
Yeah. I love it.
I think it's just a good moment of us all laughing together.
Yes.
A moment of levity.
Well, the poor squire just like heart
Just
dropping.
fucking, yeah. Oh god, oh god.
He's like, well, the scariest person in Salisbury probably is my sire, and then he's like, oh, there are more scary people. This one with a ghost hand who was dead, and this one who's been fighting a war almost single-handedly against a foreign king. Why do they all want me dead?
He knows too much.
I like the idea. Like, no, but I'm actually serious.
Yeah.
No, I am actually going to kill you now.
He's like,
Okay, he's just gonna get his head ruffled.
According to the Pendragon 5.2 book, Baden Hill is italicized under the places near, quote, near and about, or whatever it says for Salisbury. So the italic means it's supposed to be in Salisbury. Ergo, I think we're in the right direction. We'll hope. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and we'll deal with that.
I'm glad the book doesn't confirm where an important place is.
Yeah.
It's there!
I can't find it on the maps. It might be me missing it, but I looked on like 3 different maps, and I'm like, this should be a lot easier to find than I'm finding it. So, whatever.
Nah.
I wanted to check in, so that was all great. I think you can all automatically get a sort of victory point up by 1. Keep your check if you had it, but I think because of the way that went down and like the nature of it and how happy the characters seemed to be and they weren't under conflict, it just makes sense, right? It's sort of like a reinvigoration of.
Was it an automatic up or a tick?
If you had a tick because you used it, you keep that, but you get an automatic up by 1. Regardless.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Wikipedia says that
Don't worry about that.
Mountbatten's. Oh yeah. Never mind then.
Yeah, stay out of that. It'll probably confirm too much for you. So, I mean, whatever. You can't spoil Arthurian legends, so do what you will, but don't worry.
I haven't read that far, guys.
Yeah.
Look, sorry. Okay, I have to spoil it. King Arthur doesn't die at the end, kinda.
Yeah, right. So what we're gonna do now, I think, is just check in and see if there's anything specific y'all want to do with 498, because this brings us into like the summertime. This is kind of out of the warm months. Is there any urgent or immediate activities or quests you want to place?
There is one thing for me, but you guys have stuff, let them know.
Edrich wants to. Oh, sorry, you go.
No, you first, sir.
Thank you kindly. Edrich wants to feel out 2 things. Mostly, how do the knights feel about squashing Syagrius, notorious regicide, at least of Prince Madoc, and if they'd be ready for combat potentially. Just essentially, Edrich is testing their combat readiness and how much they want to get out and do knightly things.
And who's your target for this exactly? Like who?
In his capacity as marshal, he's probably gonna.
You organize armies and you march armies, but you don't necessarily command their day to day unless they're being mustered.
Got you.
Yeah. So if an army was called together, arguably that's not even your role to call them. That would be the count or
Roberts.
Countess. You would then lead that army, but you also maintain the army. So you make sure that everything that you need to muster an army is available on behalf of your account. That's kind of how it works.
In that case, during one of the council meetings, Edrich will mention Syagrius has been reported to build a modern bailey there. I recommend destruction. On a personal note, he's going to continue to sniff around where his mother disappeared. He's quite worried.
Okay. So I'll spare you on that. So when you get back, you find out that there is an offer of ransom for your mother. 20 librum.
I'm really low on money, but I do have Love Family 20. I'm paying it. I am at 20 Librum as a whole.
You should ask Virgil for money.
I'm not gonna.
You should.
And I'm gonna go over just for the sake of the stream, but also for you guys. I'm just gonna go over the Salisbury situation. It's something we probably don't look at enough. So we have the county of Summerland. This is Salisbury in the middle. Summerland is generally pretty isolationist, even in this era. Except for there seems to be these strange things happening in the forest, specifically targeting what sounds like the former hundreds of land that were taken during the time that Summerland was invaded during Uther's time. Continuing down, we have the county of Jagant, the last remaining vestige of what was once Duke Orlow's Duchy of Cornwall, currently being conquered by what is known as the Kingdom of Cornwall. So Jagant is the last independent remnant of it. There is, of course, the county of Dorset. And you guys know a little bit more about that. Apparently they have their own praetor. Out of fear or worry, you confirmed it is not Siagris.
Yay!
Yeah. Praetor Jothel. I'll get you the name later. You have Wessex, which is a Saxon state under the grandson of Vortimer, not Vortigern, great grandson of Vortigern. And he is half Saxon, half Cymric, and he's back. You have the remnants of the county of Hantone, which is mostly just Wessex now. Actually, this should probably be updated. I think Wessex is out here now as well.
Yeah, they expanded.
More or less.
You have the Duchy of the Vale, which is now just an alleged part of South Seax. So another Saxon state, but run by Duke Ulfius, one of the OGs of the island. You have the county of, as it says on this, Marlborough, but it's actually Gentian in this era. And Gentian is a little less clear on exactly what's going on, other than some of you know that they seem to be working with Clarence. And Clarence is part of the divided state of what was once the Duchy of Glevum, that old guy that beat the Knight of Long Knives. He mastered it and leveled up or whatever. His heirs are now having basically a dispute, a civil war over succession. So succession war.
I will carry on his legacy. I will beat them to death with a leg.
And that's your immediate surroundings only, just as a general kind of that's what's going on. So I mean, there's lots to deal with, and then apparently there's this Castle of Woodstock. You found out that that's actually Madoc's castle, and it's been taken by human-shaped things that came out of the forest. An army conquered and took that. And that is the current state. So if we don't have anything more pressing, guys, actually, hold on, we didn't finish our round table. So we started with Edrich and your focus. You are gonna pay that?
Yes.
Okay. You
That's half of my remaining cash.
Okay. You meet with a goblin of all things. Is this your first time ever seeing a goblin?
Yes. Not the first time seeing a supernatural creature, but the first time seeing a goblin. I think the moment it becomes apparent that it's not readily human, Edrich goes, "Oh God," but not in a fearful way, but in a very, like, annoyed, put upon way.
Okay. Before there's the trade-off, they make you speak the words that you will honor this with your money. Basically making sure that before they present her, that you'll have the money ready and you are willing to hand it over.
I'm a man of my word, and I love my family. You will have your money.
Okay. They make you recite it in a very specific way.
If you make me rhyme, I'm going to kill you.
Please do. I can't come up with some quick on my
Oh, hold on.
the rhyme with Librum. Give me some of the rhyme.
Librum,
with your
leave
mom.
them, perhaps?
Februm.
Mother.
Calibrimbo?
Kebrum.
I will hand you 20 Librum and your lives. Regrettably, I'll leave them. For my mother, who I love very dearly, I will not murder you here and I'll give her back.
They look really disappointed with the end point, but they hand your mother over. You felt the weight of that too as you spoke those words. Which is strange to you. You hand over. You can take a. What is your fairy lore? Is it super low still? If it's super low, you can take a tick.
Yes, it is 3.
Yeah, you can take it then. That would be different if it was like an 8 or something. Like no.
Yeah.
You now confirm goblins exist, and you
threaten them with death multiple times.
They mention their leader's name, Dejej. Well, you don't need it.
Edrich doesn't know how to spell, but I would like it.
I'll get it to you, but it's something like this.
Some fey nonsense.
Yeah.
I will say this. Should it continue to act this way around Salisbury borders, there will be more trouble.
Summerland land. Land owned to King Cadwy and his allies.
And are you his allies?
If our queen says so, then we are.
Queen. She'll see what holds more water. The laws of man or whatever you do.
All right, and we will continue on from there. Edrich, you end up with your mother back. She seems, well, she thought she was probably going to die, so seems quite relieved to see you.
It is good to see you, Mother. Baron Duach? Really?
So you know about that then. Yeah.
He's very bad at lying. Let's get you home.
Yeah, you know what she says, and you're going to hate this too, Edrich. He has a way with words.
I know he has a way with words. Why? And yeah, when Edric's around people he loves, he's definitely not like late middle-aged, which is 34. But he's very much like a younger adult. He was never a child. When he was 8, he was 20. But he's very much a mother. But yes, thank you.
Test your love family, first off.
18.
Okay. Now, test trusting +5. Okay. Test that against your flat suspicion. Okay, suspicion wins. Make an intrigue roll.
Ooh, fumble on intrigue.
It's something that just the way she said, way with words, but you're just like you end up disappointed. I think what it is, the fumble means in the start of the next year, we'll say that you start to go, something's not adding up there though.
Yeah.
But not yet. Like right now, you're just relieved
Not
to have her
yet.
back.
Exactly. He loves his family.
Yeah, you chalk it up as nothing. If it wasn't a fumble, that might have been different. So we will we'll go to Florence, check in with you real quick.
All right. Florence is returning into his home. He is doing two things over the summer. One, finding out who's still around and who's still alive, and two, gathering them under a united banner and trying to convince them that our best option is to bend the knee. And specifically, he'd say, we bend the knee for now.
You go around Cornwall?
No, around the area that is still yet to be conquered. Not Gigant, but around Devon.
Okay, so
those that survived the siege.
On the edge of the battle, basically? Like, because the battle's still... Gigant's fallen, Ascalon's fallen, basically. Right? At this point,
essentially. So he's going around to everyone else and trying to bring them under a united banner.
Under united? Okay. Give me a diplomacy test +5 here.
All right. May I roll a passion hospitality?
You may.
All right. Let's go. Success. Adding +10, so it's +15 into this in total. Because I really want this to succeed. Success, but not a crit.
Okay. Now there's
I rolled 2.
There's you can take diplomacy.
I
Already
will say
ticked.
one thing. Do you have your yearly upscale?
I think I do. I don't think I've used
Yeah.
it already.
Because you could
Not
turn
this
that
year.
into a crit, if you so desired.
I wouldn't. Let me get in front of this one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. So you find
No,
out
no.
that you basically convince the others to do what they were on their way to do, but they weren't aware they were going to do it at the time you show up because you show up early. You find out that Urban was forced under decision of death or bending the knee. He did bend the knee, and he is now Count Urban of the Kingdom of Cornwall.
In that case, Florence does his best to unite everyone else.
Yep.
Under the same banner. Oh, go ahead.
You know that Urban was pretty against Idris. Like, obviously. Sometimes, though, leaders' loyalties change when they're confronted with that. Like, a matter of honor. You beat me. Look at Brassius, for example. You beat me.
Yeah.
I know y'all have your opinions of Brassius, but, you know, it was you beat me. You beat me in battle, and you chose not to execute me as a traitor. My life is basically forfeit to you. So, there are those that don't take that route, and I think both ways are considered honorable. But if he didn't get executed, it certainly means that survival was a bigger mechanism than his honor, right?
I think in this case, specifically, Florence is uniting them under his banner, not the new Count's
Not
banner.
Urban. Yeah. Understood.
Not Urban.
Yeah, so you're collecting what's left of that group. So if you want to up that to a 20, you could. To a crit, you could. It would mean more loyalty to the remnants, basically the eastern border. Count like the eastern border manors of manors and
okay
such.
In this case, could I do so? And specifically, Florence will bring them together, and then his plan is to bow before King Idris and basically say, in not directly, but in as many words, I will be far more loyal to you than what's his face?
Is that'd be great. That would be very Florence to say. I'd be far more loyal to you than what's his face.
That other guy, that new Count.
Exactly. Basically, if anything, Florence is also angling to unseat the other dude as a possibility. if not prove his loyalty to King Idris by saying, "I brought everyone else under a united banner.
Okay.
Let there be proof of what I can do."
Give me an intrigue test when you're before Idris.
Sure thing. I'm going to roll loyalty sword of victory for this one, because this is specifically to do with his plan with the other members of the sword of victory. Let's hope it doesn't. Okay, that's a success. So a +5 to this.
That man's kind of hot.
That's true.
Success.
He's
Standard.
kind of bad though, you know. The 2 Ds.
Your intrigue is 5. So okay. You see a smirk on his face. You can tell what you said pleased him, but you know enough to know that there's more. And he says,
Mm-hmm.
"That is excellent, Sir Florence. In that case, I have the perfect duty for you."
Of course, my king.
It should be no surprise to you that we will continue to march onto Gigant next year. You are from the county of Salisbury, my men tell me.
Indeed I am, my lord.
I wish for you to prepare them. We'll be asking for Salisbury's support in the conquering of Gigant, or at least those willing to aid us for considerable librum in reward. Plunder, of course, being an option for any who resist us in our claim.
Of course, my lord. I will convince all that I can.
Perfect. Then I'll be sure to send a delegate next year to check in with you.
Of course. Your Majesty.
All right.
I'm on the inside. See how long that lasts.
He thinks you're on the inside. So are you double or triple agenting?
That's a good question. We'll see how this goes. Maybe I do very well. I'm like, this is, better off.
We're a sword of victory for one day.
Yeah. From 17 to 0. Just instantly plunge.
Can you imagine straight up in any part of the campaign we went, I want to be a French knight. I want to join Gaul.
You know what? Fuck Salisbury. What has it ever done for me?
And
Aqueduct?
I mean, that is a fair question. For some of us more than others.
that's fair.
Mhm.
We'll check in with Virgil, or is it Perin we're checking in with? Or both?
I think I don't have anybody to talk to specifically, so I think I can just really quick summarize for you what Perin wants to do, and then we can touch in with Virgil real fast.
Okay.
Perin is going to use some of the information he gained while he was working under the Centurion King, and with some of the new information he's gotten working now with Edrich and Florence, to try to basically establish a network and gather allies. He wants to build an army of Ronin, basically. Just something. He needs to have something so that if the day comes, he could arrive with an army. And he's going to do it.
Yeah. I'll present you. I'll present you with the challenges first. If that's
Yes.
Many people. You're a little late to the game for mercenaries, and that's not to say there aren't mercenaries. You're just later to the game for knights. Even. So there's the rank in between kind of knighthood and commoners. So that's full of like
Uh-huh.
mounted men called sergeants, and then there's also what's the other name? Sorry, there was one more too that would have worked well, but we'll say sergeants for
Is
now.
it like
esquires?
hedge knights?
Esquires.
Oh, esquires.
So
Right,
those that went through the full rank of squire and were not knighted, and
Right.
but are still battle trained. Usually they weren't knighted because they didn't pass.
They stuck.
yeah.
Yeah.
But all of those situations require money, and most mercenary units survive through battling. Like they only exist long because they're actively always in combat somewhere, right? So what you lack right now is a direct access to the ability to fund any of those things. You could try to pull loyalists from like commoners or something, either like almost into like, a Chitauri's army or a cult type thing. But you also aren't acting as Sir Perin, so no one has any reason to rally behind your banner. And that's the biggest challenge. Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge, and I have a plan for that. Perin is scary good at intrigue, and I think he wants to assume a new identity. The Black Dog is the idea, and he wants to try to sell himself out as specifically not just an enforcer, but also a spy master kind of guy. Someone who can be an information broker and help be an in-between. Like, everybody's currently fucking fighting each other right now, or on the verge of fighting each other. So Perin wants to be a kind of guy who can step in and help mediate situations and use that to build up an idea of, okay, so these two counties are going to be fighting at some point. I'll work to legitimately try to diffuse that, or try to get one side in a better position over the other. But I'm also going to use that as an opportunity to look at the knights that are in there and, hey, do you want to do something better than this? Like kind of handpick certain people and kind of make influence from that kind of thing. And he's willing to play the long game for that, like over the course of the next couple of years. But yeah, the idea is
target
that
area.
Particular target area, everything surrounding Salisbury, I'd say.
Okay. Yep.
He's got probably more north, just because that's where he's kind of been. The last couple years.
I think
so
Glevum and Clarence would be a perfect place for that, given they're in a civil war.
Yeah. Exactly. I think he'll kind of use that to not necessarily take over anything, but just use that as an opportunity to try to manipulate the situation behind the scenes, and also build renown for himself as the Black Hound, or the Black Dog.
You'll be effectively, people are going to assume you're knighted, so you're going to maintain 1,000 glory, but you're back to that for this persona. And the only time that would merge back into the regular glory is if it's ever exposed publicly that Perin equals Black
is the same person.
Come back together.
Yeah.
This Lancelot did this, right? He rode around as a mass purposefully, so he didn't end up at the high seat of everyone's table and stuff. You know what I mean? So, or get people trying to murder him everywhere he went. So, okay,
and that's kind of the vibe too. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. And then as for Virgil, nobody's told him nothing. So until then, he's going to try to finally resolve the situation with Redwick St. James. Him and Bronwyn had came to somewhat of an understanding, but not really a super definitive one. He also wants to get married to the lady he's been courting as well.
Okay.
So all of those things are things that he's interested in doing.
All right. No, that makes sense. Are you looking to get married this year?
Yeah, as soon as possible. He does not give a shit about waiting on that. The one more thing too. He's going to be really looking out for dissenters in Salisbury. We just had a bunch of factionalism stuff, and especially while Edrich is distracted with other things, Virgil wants to be the scary guy that shows up at your house. He wants. What was the constable that cut off, or that attacked Uther? Yeah, he wants to be Virgil's, or he wants to be Edric's Argon. He wants to show up places and be like, "Listen, you have reason to be afraid. So let's not be afraid anymore. Together. Let's not be afraid together. You know what I mean?
You're worried,
Um,
and you should be.
And you should be, but you don't have to be.
Yeah.
So he wants to go around and do that. Just
Right.
intimidate people into working for him.
Right now, that's not a super big need, because what's happening right now is you and Edrich, Virgil and Edrich, have actually somewhat successfully kind of played if you follow through with the promises that are supposed to follow, people putting their weight behind, then you've captured the Born. Even the dissenters on the other side, it would be like a fool's errand to go against Edrich with the full support of those other groups. Well, Edrich is still green and hasn't proven a failure. Like, if Edrich goes out and proves everyone right in a certain way, then those dissenters might come about. So I understand your goal, and maybe some of that is you just traveling to the ones that you think would be the most dissenting and treating with them, kind of interacting with them, and
Exactly.
showing up with,
And then the only last thing is he's looking for any opportunity to justify killing Sirleaf. Like, literally any. It doesn't even have to be that good. Like, as long as it won't get Edrich super in trouble, he's going to find a way to justify it. Even if he has to lie to, he'll fight real dirty. He'll lie to spread rumors or whatever, or make up a crime that the guy probably did. But like, whatever he has to do for that. And that's it. That's all he does.
Well, you have some dirt on him, so it might be worth looking at making that, exposing that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Out of all that stuff, okay, we got some general ideas. I think for Virgil, though, he hasn't had any rolls this game, so we'll just do, give me a test in intrigue.
Can I impassion something for this?
I don't think in this case. Let's give her a raw.
Okay. Oh boy! All right, here we go.
I believe in you.
Okay. Oh, is it still 4?
It's kind of.
Yeah,
okay.
It's still 4. I had to.
It's kind of fitting. It's like, do what we say, or we're gonna fucking kill you. In about as many words.
Yeah, I had to. When I need to be the bulldog, so I upped my sword this year instead of putting some more ranks into intrigue. But it's coming soon.
Yeah, I understand. No, it's okay. And then we will give you. Let me just look up something. Okay, even though you're not formally a constable, we're going to give you the following 2 checks, or the following automatic checks: cruel and energetic.
Okay, energetic's already ticked. Cruel is now ticked.
Okay. And then
There's one thing about being a constable you need to know. It's this: take no prisoners and wake up every day at 5 a.m.
I feel like it's in the word. You're
You're a stable, that thing.
You're a cruel stable.
Edrich, give me test valorous, or sorry, automatic check on valorous, and then test prudent versus reckless.
Okay, Lily. Check on valorous. Testing prudent. Prudent is a success. Reckless. Exactly the same.
Reroll. Both.
Prudent is failure. Reckless is failure. Reroll.
And one last time, and there won't be a reroll if this ends up a tie again. So.
Success on prudent. Tie again.
Okay. No, but it's a higher on reckless, so reckless gets ticked.
Absolutely.
I was kind of hoping for 3 times in a row, because that would have been real funny.
Yes.
Florence, please check proud for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then test merciful.
Extremely merciful.
You can tick merciful as well. Okay.
All right.
Why don't, guys, it's 11:30. We've been at it for a few hours. Why don't we go ahead and wrap there? And when we get back, we'll be doing the end of this year, 498. I'm not sure when, but I'm gonna see if Colin wants to come back in the next few weeks and join up, because I think it'd be fun to have him cycle in every couple of years. And then we'll see what's happening. I'm gonna sit down with Zach and talk to him about a plan for those that are lingering and waiting for the famine that is open Pendragon. I'm gonna see if I don't know what the long-term sustainability is of open Pendragon, but I would like to at least do something like around the holidays for those that are around, because they'll probably have a little bit more free time, run a couple of sessions and do some catch up. So like we'll start kind of where we left off with knowing that some of these things existed. I like to do one with Jaren and a small group up in the Forest Sauvage, because that's where Jaren was going next. I gotta check in with Zach first to find out what that plan was. But let's go ahead and do some wrap-ups, and I'll get with you, Liam, on the side to figure out if there's anything interesting you want to run in the meantime.
I definitely have open Pendragon plans. It's all about finding time for it. Is the thing.
All right. Let's go ahead and do some quick outros, starting with Thomas.
Hello, my name is Thomas, and I have been Sir Edrich. I had a wonderful time seeing the Sword of Victory get together for the first time in ages. And guys, I really want to conquer something. I need money so bad.
The male urge to go die in a war.
The male urge to win a war, in specific. I don't want to die. But yes, I've had a wonderful time playing, and thank you everyone for watching.
Mark.
Huzzah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just checking out our handy-dandy Discord. By the way, did you know we have a Discord? Come check us out. Lots of fun stuff on there. As said, sometimes open Pendragon. We also offer some other shows and things that we do on the sidelines, such as paid games played by either me or Bob or really any of us. Yeah, you can also have access to all the fun stuff, chat and see all the memes and shit posting. It's a lot of shit posting. But other than that, I have been Mark, aka the Cat's Meow, playing Sir Florence, Baron of Axe, and now servant to the King of Cornwall. And we'll see how that goes next time.
Florence is wearing a lot of hats, isn't he?
He's a man of many hats. Many fashionable hats.
Liam.
And I'll go now. Hi, yeah, hello. I am Liam. I have played Sir Perin and a very, very small amount of Sir Virgil today. What a fun session for Perin character arc stuff. So nice to be able to sit in his shoes for a little bit again, and I'm looking forward to getting out of them for a while again. Exciting stuff as always. I adore this game. I adore this cast. I adore this GM, and we'll see you guys next week.
Excellent. And I have been Bob, the GM. We're moving right along. I think we're gonna wrap 498 in the next session here, and then on to bigger, better things. That was it was great having the Sword of Victory back, even just for a session. Felt really good. And we'll be back with more Salisbury Anarchy next Sunday. If you're interested in this world and other connected components, you can watch us on Tuesday, rather, with Summerland Enchantment. You can watch us on Friday with our Nintelia's Legacy, which show other aspects of Britain. And that's all I'm going to shout out for now. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later. Take care.
Bye.
In the year of our Lord, a mournful chill hath settled upon the realm of Britain, for it hath endured a desolation of 16 winters, bereft of a high king to guide and unite the land. The Supreme Collegium, entrusted with the sacred duty to anoint a rightful sovereign, hath faltered in its solemn task, lamented the whispers among the people. The 9 surviving legates, their voices entangled in a web of protocol and precedence, have failed to act. Alas, it seemeth the twilight of the collegium, as a potent body hath descended upon us. Throughout the land, tales abound of tribute paid, but alas, it floweth not into the coffers of a worthy ruler, but rather into the hands of invaders and those ill-fitted to the throne. The noble lords of Logres, once stalwart pillars of our realm, hath been laid low, though some secrets lie shrouded in mystery. Duke Ulfius, a survivor of many a harsh winter, findeth himself enshrouded in whispers of a shadowy alliance with the treacherous South Saxon. Duke Corneus, long in hiding, hath emerged from the shadows, and as he journeyed northward with exiles from Hanton, a fateful clash hath erupted at the border of East Saxon. In the wake of many a raid upon Caerwent, key strongholds once lost hath been reclaimed. The Irish, like a relentless horde, wage war upon the lands of Gales, swarming in their thousands, akin to vermin unleashed upon the fields. Norgales, in the throes of despair, offereth tribute to the mountain tribal leaders, known as the 3 Cadlus. These Cadlus, in their quest for willing souls to join their cause, dangle the allure of plunder. Yet, little plunder will be found in battling against the Irish. In the heart of Cambria, the kingdoms of Scavalon and Cameliard convene beneath the banners of peace, a meeting graced by the presence of the illustrious kings Leo de Grance and Ninteliad. King Idris of Cornwall hath need of willing souls, and the castellan of Castle Dimmock in Tintagel doth seek volunteers for his cause to defend against the King of Cornwall. King Cerdic of Wessex, ever the ambitious warlord, raiseth a formidable host, and seeketh the aids of mercenaries. A fleet of ships, a foreboding harbinger of strife, hath also been amassed under his banner. In the fabled lands of Salisbury, the great Marshal's tournament hath been postponed, for news of turmoil along their western borders hath reached their ears. The Castle Woodhouse, a bastion once held by the late Prince Madoc, and a hoary hill fort of Westford Castle, are said to have fallen under the dominion of mercenary armies. Yet the superstitious whisper of fey-folk and giants, laboring to reclaim what was lost in the days of Uther's invasion of the magician king's summer.